so you see the fucking...
You guys are live.
One thing I remember though was like when I broke in your house and grabbed this stuff though. That was
one of my favorite intros.
that was a fun one.
Welcome. Hey.
Hey, what's up? What we got?
Yeah, we're just talking, reminiscing of old episodes. Actually, specifically...
A lot of fun times.
Specifically intros.
Yeah, a lot of fun times in the past for sure. Just kind of reliving them.
What's that?
I was making sure it's working.
And?
It looks a lot better than the last time we did this.
Right on. Right on.
So we're going to have a few minutes here.
So what is she called? The mediator? Or what the hell do you call that? I need the meteor. Not the meteor.
The meteor. She's a meteorite.
No, what's the name for it? The monitor. Monitor?
No.
Not a monitor.
Moderator.
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 All right.
Yeah.
Moderator.
Yeah.
Mistress Andrew, thank you very much for doing this.
Yeah, behind the scenes working all this because we can't.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you guys. How you doing?
So yeah, we're just gonna take a couple minutes, let people get into the room, and then we'll start.
We're gonna wait a little bit.
Yeah, we can kind of talk
alright.
about whatever.
Basically, what we're gonna do, I think, is we're gonna do kind of like just a regular show. If you watched this in the past, we're just gonna fire some recent watches that myself and Ghoul have been watching.
And it's been a long time.
Yeah.
So we got plenty.
And after that, we're gonna take a couple questions, just maybe a couple questions, and then we're gonna talk about horror documentaries, some of our favorite horror documentaries, which we just. I mean, I don't know about you, but I love horror documentaries.
They're a lot of fun. You do learn a lot, but they're also entertaining.
Absolutely.
As well, especially like some of the ones we'll talk about.
Yeah.
For various reasons, they're fun to watch.
I just like throwing on a documentary after work or something and just.
You don't have to pay it. I mean.
Because like if you throw on a movie, you kind of gotta open your mind. What's up?
Oh man. Jeez.
From me to you. But like you throw on a documentary, it's just like it's so. I don't know. I just find them really relaxing and fun.
It's not something you don't have to worry about a plot. You don't have to worry about characterization. You don't have to worry about a storyline. Like you don't have to worry about anything.
And you learn so much about your favorite genre. You know, whether it's like an actor like I'll just use for example, Kane Hodder, the To Hell and Back documentary. Yep. You learn so much about him. And I remember when we went to Wendigo Fest, was it last year?
Last year, yeah. Got to meet him and.
Yeah, and he was like such a cool cat, and I watched that documentary, so I knew a lot about him. So like when I met him, and then when you meet like celebrities, they have a documentary out, you can watch them, like Tom Savini or Kane Hodder or
John Carpenter. I don't know if John Carpenter ever had one, did he?
Yeah, he had a little one.
Yeah, it wasn't much, but usually he stars in all the other ones, like the Red, White, and Blue.
Oh yeah,
one.
Yeah.
I mean, all these guys.
The slasher one.
Yeah, Mick Garris. I mean, they all. They put their 2 cents in about the genre itself, and they don't actually have one, unfortunately.
Yeah, and they deserve a lot of those. I mean, Toby Hooper, I think he deserves more. I really do.
Yeah.
If you watch The Masters of Horror, his portion of The Masters of Horror, what the hell was it called? I forgot.
I don't even know what year that would have been.
I forgot, but they did like a nice piece on him, and that was when he was actually still kicking too. Yeah. He was still making movies.
I mean, Wes Craven's another one that deserves.
Yeah.
I mean, just from what he did in movies to begin with, Last House on the Left, and just really the stuff he put out there was like.
And me and Ghoul just want to say quick. I mean, we're gonna have shots later for many people, but Ruggiero Deodato, that one really hit me.
Yeah.
The guy was just an exploitation films legend, and
push the envelope.
Yeah,
so many times.
Push the envelope.
And that was sad.
That poor turtle and that monkey.
Oof.
That poor monkey.
Don't start. We'll get into that. Why he's saying it that way. Oh, monkey.
Yeah.
Monkey brain.
That just came to me. I was like, oh, that's right. They killed a monkey. Yeah, But he really was a pioneer in his day. Kind of like Herschel Gordon Lewis. Like Ghoul said, he pushed the boundaries of what was.
He got ripped off so many times.
Yeah. But in good ripped off. Like Bruno Mattei, I liked his style, and I definitely like Umberto Lenzi, another rest in peace.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
All right, what are we doing here? Got anybody? We're just talking to ourselves.
We're just talking to ourselves.
Woo-hoo.
All right. That's no biggie. It's happened so many times. But yeah, Skids and Andy, we really appreciate you watching.
And Andrea, thank you. Any
You're
questions?
such, you're such fucking bastards.
Yeah, I got a question. So,
Andy has a question. What did Andy say, Andrea?
at what point did you guys realize you loved horror?
Good question.
Andrew, you want to go first?
What?
I mean, yeah, this goes all in the video. I don't give a shit.
Well, but for me, it's I don't know. Just always have been in it. You know, it's never really left me since day one. It's images. I remember we did one of our shows. We did like images that stuck in your head when you were a kid.
Yeah.
Like if you
Well, it was VHS covers.
yeah,
We
the
did
VHS
partially,
covers, and also like if you
Just
saw
images.
like in a in a reference book or something, if you went to the library, like Mr. Barlow looking at or Max Schreck or something. You know?
Exorcist. I mean,
Yeah,
shit,
yeah.
all that stuff.
It was just so enticing to a youngster, and of course at that time
Terrified me.
you can't really rent unless you have like someone who's older that's cool. That's
Well,
gonna,
Nosferatu you could have, but I actually
Oh,
saw
yeah.
Nosferatu on AMC once.
yeah,
And
that's
when I was
true.
really young, and I remember seeing him, and that again, it was when he stood in the doorway. That was not the part where he's hovering over and he lifts his head and looks at you.
Oh yeah.
It was when he stood in the doorway and he's just, he's so
Goes
intimidating
up the
as a
stairs.
figure.
That's so
Yeah.
that's one right there.
So famous, and that's also I think The Shining did an homage to that. Did they not? I don't remember. There was a movie that did kind of like their own homage to
I
that.
don't think it
Or was it
was-
American Horror Story? Very well could have been.
I don't watch that show. I would like to. I'd actually start like to watch that show. I just don't have time.
but I think one of the episodes on American Horror Story, whatever season it was, there was like an homage to that image coming up the stairs. I think in their own version.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
But
What about you? Yeah, I just
mine started with my dad. And it started. The creature part of it started with, kind of with my grandma too, because we used to watch like Tales from the Crypt when I was growing up. I saw that stuff, but it was really weird because as far as prosthetics and just like monster type figures, it was Star Trek.
Yeah.
I think I've talked about that before. It's the monsters, the creatures they had, and the people.
Like Geordi or Geordi or whatever his name. That dude with the
Yeah.
big ears on Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, that's
Geordi.
Quark.
Quark. Okay.
Yeah.
And of course, remember Michael Dorn, his wife. This is highly unusual, Captain.
But that was like, and then seeing the Twilight Zone, Alfred Hitchcock Presents, all that stuff was like the Night Gallery.
Boris Karloff Thriller.
I never actually watched that as a kid, believe it or not. I never actually heard of it until a couple of years ago. I probably had seen it somewhere.
I remember
but-
Tales from the Dark Side of Night Gallery
Oh,
as a kid, and of course Tales from the Crypt. Well, I didn't have HBO,
Nope.
but anytime
Fox
like
used
we
to
would,
have it.
anytime we would be like if my family we went to vacation, like say like Wisconsin Dells or something, and we went to a hotel, they would have HBO, so I would get to watch Tales from the Crypt.
Well, then Fox carried it
Remember that.
later on, like the reruns. But
Yeah.
but no, it was kind of cool. Like
They were
actually,
cut the fuck, but yeah.
I actually found out that brain fart number one.
Many brain farts.
Oh shit. Oh Christ, I can't. Oh,
Remember
man.
I remember Goosebumps even like. I remember running home from school just to catch the latest Goosebumps.
Jeffrey Combs was actually a very big character, Wei-Un, in Deep Space Nine.
I did not know that.
Yeah, he played like probably 2 seasons, and he was like the big villain that they were trying to take out.
I did not know that.
Yeah, Jeffrey Combs played in there, which is really cool. He was actually in a couple episodes, like before that, so that's cool.
I learned something.
All right, I guess we're just gonna kick in here.
Anybody watching?
Got a couple comments.
Hey, all right, what do we got?
What do we got? What's up?
All right, Death Church said, my dad got me into horror. The first movie we watched together was Night of the Living Dead on VHS. Still have that copy and we'll keep it forever.
Oh yeah, was that the original or remake?
The original, probably.
I would assume the original.
From 68.
68. Yeah.
Georgia, Maryland. I do like the Tom Savini one from 1990 as well.
But no, it's that original.
That's badass.
That original when that body on top of the stairs, that like that they found in the house. Oh man, that image.
This is the
Groundbreaking.
original.
The original.
Yeah,
Have to be
groundbreaking.
original.
Groundbreaking for its time.
Yeah, I mean, the when you learn later on about the racial tension in that movie, and
Yeah.
Ben was,
Dwayne-
it's a lead.
Dwayne
Dwayne Jones was like a lead character. You never saw that in the '60s. That was, that Romero made such a groundbreaking movie.
He really did.
Absolutely. But we're not going to talk about that forever.
We
but-
could make a whole or a whole whatever the fuck this thing is.
Whatever we
A
are.
whole this discussion on just George Romero and I Live
All right, one more and then we'll get into it.
Awesome.
One last comment. Ninja Badger.
Hey.
chiming
What's up,
in,
man?
Says, hey, back with you from New Zealand.
All
Fuck
right.
yeah, brother. What's
Glad to
going
have you.
on?
Glad to have you.
Glad to have you. Thank you for watching.
All right, we're gonna get into this with some recent watches.
Yeah.
And by all means, guys, chime in. Talk
Absolutely.
about them if you haven't seen them.
Just have some fun. We appreciate you guys and gals just chiming in anytime.
So let's do it.
Awesome.
All right, we'll try to get to questions, but we're gonna try to roll through the episode as well. So.
Go what you got for recent watches.
All right, this is from 2016. Directed by Jessica Cameron, Truth or Dare. And of course, Jessica Cameron, if you don't know, played the leading lady in American Guinea Pig, Song of Solomon.
Yep.
And if you haven't seen that movie, amazing movie, and behind the scenes on that is great.
Unbelievable.
You really learn what she is as an actress.
She learned Latin.
for that movie.
That's crazy, man.
So this movie, I had this on my shelf for quite a long time, and I always wanted to watch it. Never know why I didn't. Wow. I mean, this movie is...
It's kind of one of those that just kind of sit on the shelf. It's like, maybe not. Nah.
It is brutal. And, I mean, well, I wouldn't call it satire, but, how this is done, so this group they're called Truth or Dare, and they do, a web show, and they kind of challenge each other for all these real death-defying stunts for the show, which obviously in the end, it's edited and it's fake. But then they go on this syndicated talk show, and there's this fan that's obsessed with them and wants to join the team.
Obsessive, man.
Oh God. So, and they end up laughing at him, and he, it's just, he's kind of gets off this real creepy, greasy vibe. If you see him, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And, so basically they kick him out. He kind of gets his revenge as they do their new one at this one of the guy's houses. It's like a vacation house. And he ends up literally with a bang, just comes in and shoots one of the guys in the head. It's just nuts.
Starts it off right there.
Yeah, and he ends up playing a game with all of them in real life, and he's syndicating it. And his whole thing is he's got such a warped mind that he wants to be famous himself. He wants to make their show better and wants them to be stars. But some of the content that gets brought up in this movie is dark.
You learn a lot about your friends.
Yeah, and there's some stuff that can be unsettling. I won't disagree. I mean, there's some stuff that from pedophilia to incest. I mean, there's stuff that you find out about these people that they're all friends, and it's just weird how he gets to it.
Yeah.
But he just basically plays his game, and Jessica Cameron, of course, does a great job. She almost was the final girl, almost. And there's spoilers. Sorry, it's gonna happen.
Nice one, go.
Oops. This is a gory movie.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great effects in this film. It really just is. It's a fun film. It's interesting. Because I know there's another Truth or Dare movie, but I don't remember.
Oh God, there's one from the '80s, Tim Ritter one.
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
Yeah.
There's
another one. It's a newer one.
I think there's
2017
two
or
newer
something.
ones.
It's 2017 or something. But yeah, it's
It's a popular title for a horror movie.
and Carrie Marcato does the special effects in this. But no.
Amazing effects.
But I definitely give Jessica Cameron a lot of credit for being a great actress, and also
Camera woman.
and also being a great director. I mean, I don't know if she has any more stuff. I didn't really look into that.
I remember when you told me about that movie, you said she was the director. I'm like,
Yeah.
really? I didn't even know she directed.
Yeah, and I saw that. I got this from our Rest in Peace family video.
Yeah.
But no, definitely check out Truth or Dare from 2016. It's a Jessica Cameron directed film. For gore hounds, you'll like it. For people, I mean, the story sometimes can kind of waver, but it's, it's worth it. I wouldn't say it's a slow burn. At the beginning's kind of
Some good character
a little
development.
bit, and that's what it comes down to. The character is really developing. You actually feel sorry for him.
Yeah.
As much of an asshole as some of these can be.
Some of them you feel sorry for. The pedophile is like, you know what?
And he kind of gets ostracized after they find that out.
Yeah.
And that, yeah, it's definitely one to go check out. It can be a little pricey from what I found out.
Oh yeah.
But if you have it on your shelf, or if you want to spend the money, or if it gets a better release, definitely pick that one up. You guys will like it.
I hope it gets a better release. Unearthed, release it, damn it.
It's very possible.
That movie has Unearthed films written all over it. When I
Mhm.
watched it, I'm like, wow, man, someone's got someone that likes these movies that really like to get their hands dirty should release this
Yeah.
because the price. If you go on eBay or Amazon, like you're talking like $50 to $100. I seen that movie go for like crazy prices, and you probably only got it like for $5 fucking bucks.
Not even. That's probably like that 2 for $3 bin.
Yeah, yeah.
Anything will.
Both Death Church and Ninja Badger said haven't seen that one. Gonna add it to the watch list.
Yeah, it's definitely
Yeah,
worth.
man.
It's definitely worth checking out, and it might be on a streaming service. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I never checked.
But it's always worth to check it out. If you can get your hands on it, it's definitely worth it. I like it a lot.
And Haley says, "Good evening, fellas.
Good evening, Haley.
What's going on, Chief?
Chief?
Hope you're healing well."
Yes.
Yeah.
Hope you're healing. All right. Well, I guess I'll go.
All right, Skidgore, what do you got?
I think this is from 2004. Yeah. It's called The Guest. Now, looking at this cover, I know you were laughing before when I showed.
Shitty.
Like, it looks like it would be kind of like a, I don't know. It's just some
It just looks like one
some
of
buff
those really,
dude with an axe, you know?
it looks like one of those really terrible like Ryan Reynolds movies.
yeah.
Or Zac Efron or something like. Just looks terrible. Now, how do I know that name?
Dan Stevens, yeah. Dan, for old time's sake. Dan Stevens knocks it out of the park is this guy. Now, I gotta be careful how I talk about this movie because I can easily give the whole fucking movie
Don't
away.
be like
I'm
me.
really bad.
Don't be like me.
I'm worse than my sister, man. Like, she'll describe a movie and, like, you'll know the whole
You
damn
don't have to
thing.
watch it.
So, yeah, this movie is about a guy who is a former soldier, comes back from the war, and basically goes to the house of one of his buddies who died in the war, and pretty much tries to, I guess, manipulate is a good word for it, the family of this fallen soldier, and says that he was friends with him and really close friends with him in the war, and he was with him when he died, and man, like he's so believable and he's so kind, but he's got a really sinister turn coming, not only for the family but anyone who gets in his way. Like I said, he's a trained soldier, so like he has all these qualities of killing people.
Yeah.
This is not a guy you want to fuck with.
Oh, I bet you
And
not.
they bring him in the house as their guest because he was friends with their son, who they're obviously still grieving for. I mean, why wouldn't they, right? But he kind of sneaks his way into the family as the guest. That's what hence the title.
No.
And it's a really good done film. Really good character development. Unbelievable score that goes with the film. But it starts off kind of like I said, it's a character development. It starts off kind of slow. He's kind of got to give it time.
Yep.
But then when you realize this guy's past and what he's capable of doing to people, it kind of plays. The best way to describe this is a bit of a Terminator.
No.
I knew that was coming.
Sorry.
A bit of a Terminator. Man, I gotta be
Not like
careful
a-
not
not
to
like a-
give away.
It's not like a Rambo thing.
No.
Not like
No.
Rogue.
Like he's. It's got a bit of a Terminator vibe because this guy
Okay.
can't be stopped. You know, he's a killing machine. You know.
Yeah.
And that's all I can say without giving the whole fucking movie away. Because like, if I say what he is and who he works for and you know, yeah.
I get it.
I said too much already. But anyway,
Yeah.
it's a great film. Really good gore. The lead,
It's one of those writings really tiny.
yeah, Dan Stevens. Dan Stevens is absolutely amazing as the lead character in this film, and the family that he kind of gets in the house of are just some of the nicest people that really take him in, and you know they trust him because he was a friend of their son.
And he's also in the military. I mean, most
Mhm.
of those people, you know, you'd assume are.
Yeah,
Oh,
but there is a very dark, sinister turn in this film, and it almost kind of goes into slasher mode in a way. This movie is weird to categorize because it has like the action Terminator type stuff, then it goes into kind of a slasher, then it has a bit of a drama. I mean, there's a lot going on in this movie, and like I said, from the cover, you never would know. It'd be kind of one of those you just kind of pass on the shelf, but really, it's a great film, guys. Check out The Guest from 2004.
and if you ever learn anything.
And I also got to say, this guy just died recently, and he's in this movie, and that never was planned. Lance Reddick, who's also in Oz. He was one of the black guys in Oz. Well, there are many black guys in Oz, but he was one of the black prisoners in Oz. He was an undercover cop in Oz.
Never seen that.
Yeah, and he plays a cop in this.
Oh, there
this
you go.
movie too. But
Typecast.
rest in peace. I mean, that wasn't planned. I just heard about that recently. But excellent cast, excellent score, great gore, amazing characterization. Check out The Guest.
And if that tells you anything,
Absolutely.
just if you got movies on your shelves where the cover doesn't do it for you.
Yeah.
I've seen some of the best covers, and they're the worst movie ever.
Oh
They're
yeah.
terrible.
When
I've
they're
also
releasing.
But I've also seen like SRS Cinema.
Yeah.
Some of those are just a train
No
wreck, too.
disrespect to SRS Cinema or.
Some of those movies though are, but never don't judge a book by its cover. I guess that's
Yeah.
the best way to put it. Because
Those are good recent
Yeah.
watches. Absolutely.
I want to throw a couple. Do you have anything about that one?
Haley said, really good movie. I'm like 98% sure it's based on true events.
Good guess.
Which one?
The one you just did.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's a great movie. Excellent movie.
Anything else?
Dan Stevens' performance is unbelievable.
Ninja Badger thinks it wasn't true, but it's a good movie.
I don't think it was true either, because I can't say who he is, because I'm gonna give away the whole
No.
fucking movie.
Don't say it.
Yeah, I can't. It's one of those movies you just gotta watch, just to enjoy it and watch it. But I
All
don't
right.
think it was based on.
So I know you got a couple honorable mentions for your documentaries that I do not. So I want to throw a couple just honorable mentions for recent watches. I'm not going to dabble into them too much.
Go for it. What you got?
First one is 2016, Girl in the Woods.
Oh yeah.
This one's an interesting film. A girl ends up, her and her boyfriend, and she accidentally kills him. And
And we're talking splat.
Yeah.
That head just.
It was just that headshot.
It comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I thought somebody shot him, honestly.
Yeah.
Just because the way it's shot.
The way it's shot and the way
Literally
it's done.
shot.
But she ends up alone in the woods and she can't find her way out, which seems pretty typical. But what you end up finding out is like all these different characters. It's almost like 3 separate personalities. So she's like battling herself and nature, and it's a great acting job.
Yeah, she was amazing.
Uh,
Not bad on the eyes either.
Yeah, I don't remember if it's Juliette Reeves. But yeah, really good movie for 2016. Great survival film.
Yeah. I
But
enjoyed that one.
not a lot of gore. It's just a great story and sad.
I enjoyed that one.
The other one I have 2016 as well, called Scars. This movie's kind of fun. If you like Natural Born Killers, you'll like this movie. It's basically these 2 girls that find one saves one from getting sexually assaulted in an alley. She goes out and she kills men. So they kind of scam these guys on dates and end up blackmailing them and then end up killing them. And then they kind of find each other and they go on this like murder spree. And then there's just a lot of stuff going on, but it's really kind of cool. Like I said, it's like Natural Born Killers. If you like that movie with Woody Harrelson, it's great.
It's called Scars.
It's called Scars.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
But yeah, really great film. And they kind of turn on each other in a really dark, twisted way. It's a cool film.
I'll have to check that one out.
And then of course the last one, Dear Mr. Gacy. If
Oh.
you haven't read the book, this is great. But William Forsythe.
If Haley's watching, she knows that movie.
You know,
she
Dear Mr.
actually
Gacy.
introduced me to that movie.
Yeah. William Forsythe.
Oh
Just
man,
as
unbelievable.
Gacy. Wow.
Like I said in the past, he had to eat a couple Twinkies to get in that role though, because
Yeah.
he's not a fat guy.
No, he's not. and
Very believable.
And then Jesse Moss, who plays his last victim, more or less, or he's a journalist who wants to write
Based on
serial killers.
Jason Moss.
Jason Moss, yeah.
Great book, The Last Victim.
And yeah,
Amazing
if you guys
book.
haven't seen Dear Mr. Gacy or even read the book,
Yeah.
it's
The
definitely worth
Last
checking
Victim
out.
is a great book.
Yeah. So, all right, that's recent watches. We got anything here?
I absolutely love Dear Mr. Gacy.
Debbie one says hi from future mother-in-law and Ham.
Oh, hi. We'll keep it PG for the ham.
She's an old lady. I think she can take it.
Anything else? Or
I'm
do
good
we
for
get
what?
into documentaries?
I think we're good.
All right, and that leads us into I think we're doing documentaries.
Documentary.
Yeah. All right.
The thing about documentaries is, you can just enjoy them and learn so much, and just take it all in. I mean, reading books too is great if you want to know more about the
Or if you're a reader.
horror genre.
But some people don't like to read.
But or if you don't have the time, just grab a documentary on some of your favorite horror movies, or you just want to learn more about horror movies. It's a fun time. I mean, so we thought we would do our top 5 favorite horror documentaries and some honorable mentions after. So
Yep.
I guess let's do
Let's
this.
go.
To do the honors.
Let's just start.
All right, my first one is from Severn. You're going to be hearing the word Severn a lot because Severn is one of the best companies for documentaries. Tales of the Uncanny, the ultimate survey of anthology horror. Where's the camera?
Don't show her.
Wow, I'm learning here.
Just in case you didn't see his last movie. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh shit! Did I throw it over
well, you
here?
kind of had it at an angle.
Oh man. Okay, so the camera's right here.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. Tales of the Uncanny. It's a really great horror anthology documentary. You're a fan of horror anthologies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like Creep Show and Dead of Night, and it's got everything from
Bedtime stories.
it's got everything from Dead of Night to Bizarre. It's got some really modern ones as well, which are really
Theater
great
Bizarre?
films. Or the Theater Bizarre, yeah. Yep. They got some really great films on here. This documentary, I give it a lot of credit because it was made during the pandemic. And obviously nobody went out around that time. The whole world was pretty fucked up at the time.
Pretty fucked up? Oh
Yeah.
yeah. More
And
than that.
it was basically just going to be a documentary of, like, I believe maybe just 10, panelists, just getting their opinions on horror anthologies. But because of the pandemic and everyone being in their house, and of course the beauty of of computer like Zoom, and you can send a video talking about what you want, they got a lot of people on here to talk about their favorite horror anthologies in this documentary, and I think it turned out really great. Definitely one of my favorites, especially if you're a fan of horror anthologies like I am. You learn so much where they began. The EC Comics, of course, which inspired George Romero and Tom Savini and Stephen King to do Creep Show. Talks to Greg Nicotero. Oh, I think it's his birthday today, isn't it?
No, it was a couple days ago.
Oh, all right. Well,
it's like
happy
Thursday
birthday,
or
Greg.
something, yeah.
But amazing documentary. Highly recommend. Tales of the Uncanny, the ultimate survey of anthology horror.
I love that cover too.
Yeah, dude, it's great because you
Cool.
got Grimsdyke, Grimsdyke, Peter Cushing,
Amicus, yeah.
and then you got the drop of water story from Mario Bava,
Oh yeah, that's the
and then you got the crate,
Black or not Black Sunday.
Fluffy from the crate,
Yep.
and the ventriloquist dummy, and also Trilogy of Terror, the Zuni fetish film.
Yeah.
That,
Aaron
uh,
Black does a great
yeah,
job.
this is
in that
like-
movie. Oh man.
Dude, you really, yeah,
That's cool.
this is one of my favorites. It covers everything. I really do love the score in this documentary too. Like, it really is an awesome score. Really goes with the documentary. But yeah, it's from Severn Films. Like, you can't go wrong. And also, it comes with Eerie Tales and Unusual Tales. They're bonus films, and one of them is from 1919.
Oh shit.
The oldest horror film I have in my collection is Thomas Edison's Frankenstein from 1910.
Yep.
So this is the second oldest. And then, of course,
That's been released. I think
that's
there's
been
some
released
that,
that I have.
they don't. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is really cool. Severn Films. Can't go wrong. Cool, what you got?
All right. From IPF Productions. A lot of producers in this one is Rewind This. So basically, this is a documentary that just dives into VHS and beta. I mean, there's a lot of horror and stuff, but they really just talk about how its effect on media and what it did for bringing home video to the home. And it does just a really great deep dive into like its heyday, or the rise to the peak, all the way to the downfall. Like, bring up Blockbuster and all the mom and pop shops.
Yeah. So sad.
And you really do learn a lot. And of course, what horror documentary wouldn't be complete without Lloyd Kaufman in it? And he talks about how the trauma rise and like what they were doing at the time and how VHS helped them, especially such a small company, and to get that to direct consumers, because most of that, they didn't have money to put in a theater. You're battling Star Wars and Evil Dead and all
Big
this.
budget Hollywood blockbuster.
So that's what it also did. VHS, and Beta really helped bring these independent companies kind of to light, which was nice. So I mean, yeah, it's basically just a really good look at VHS and Beta throughout, 80s, 90s.
Definitely
and
get
then
a
even
good
today.
history. Definitely get a good history.
Yeah, you do learn. You get a lot of people in here. A Hobo with a Shotgun filmmaker, Jason Eisner, which was really cool. He has a really good take, especially because Hobo with a Shotgun's at Grindhouse, And so, yeah, definitely check out. I think this is from 2013. Rewind This. You can still find this anywhere. I don't know if it's a Blu-ray or not. If they have one, I would imagine so. But yeah, definitely check that out if you guys like documentaries about VHS.
Yeah,
I know I do.
Which
I love
we
them.
do. We
I
love
love
them.
them. I think they're one
A
of
couple
them.
others I would give honorable mentions to along the same lines of those. It's definitely Adjust Your Tracking.
Yes, that's actually I think better than that one in my opinion, because they go to collectors' houses and I mean
That one dude that has a whole video store in his
Jesus,
basement.
yeah, that's nuts.
Bradco Video or whatever it's called. And then VHS Lives Volume 1 and 2.
Yeah. I've not seen that one yet.
Phil Anselmo's actually on Volume 1. Volume 2 is pretty cool. Then there's
What do they have?
VHS Nasty or something. I have that one too. Should have brought it. Yeah, there's a lot of really good documentaries on VHS. Of course, myself and Ghoul, we remember those times. Like when you watch those documentaries and they go into those, whether it's Blockbuster, talk about the mom and pop shops. Like we just remember that stuff. So nostalgic.
Oh yeah.
I think that's the best word for it. It's just so nostalgic.
I remember there was a Planet Video, like
Planet Video.
oh my god, years ago.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah,
Premiere
it's cool.
Video. I remember Video Update. I remember.
And it's kind of cool. We still buy. When I find
Sometimes.
VHS out in the wild, I'll find stickers.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's cool. You find Blockbuster, Please Rewind, Be Kind Rewind stickers on there. It's cool.
Right.
But we all know the rise in VHS, especially horror, is kind of come back, and it's kind of leveled off a little bit. But
Of course, some of our favorite movies we ever saw were first on VHS.
yeah, and that was the cool thing, being able to bring those home and But yeah, I remember going home Friday night, after school, we'd go to the video store.
Those are the best times.
But
man.
me personally, I'd go right to the horror section. I would just look at the covers. That's all I ever did. Couldn't
Yeah.
rent them, but it was always cool.
Yeah, exactly. Like you'd see like Make Them Die Slowly or I Spit on Your Grave or something. Like, can I rent this? No.
Yeah, I remember seeing like the cover for like Witchboard and
Yeah.
stuff like that, where the hands coming out and grabbing her by
Yeah.
the throat. Like that was just cool. To
Or
me.
Evil
Yeah.
Speak with the Devil on
Evil
the
Speak.
computer. Yeah.
There's so many.
Any questions on a VHS at all?
Nope. Well, let's see. Ninja Badger said, probably my favorite documentary is Flesh and Blood, The Hammer Heritage of Horror.
Whoa!
Well, that's kind of funny because we have it.
You're in luck.
We're gonna talk about that.
We will get to that.
So yeah, you're in luck.
He also said, remember hiring those grainy tapes because they had been watched 100 times, but they were good times for sure.
Oh yeah. And they had such a history too. Like for example, a really gory scene like in The Burning, or a nude scene in Maniac or something.
Yeah.
I'm just using these example. You can see like how somebody would just like rewind
Rewind
it
it,
and watch it again. It was like a history, man. Like
Yeah.
like if you watch a VHS, you can see the history of someone who watched it.
And they do that in Adjust Your Tracking. I remember they
Yeah.
kind of talked about that. Yeah. for
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. That's fucking awesome.
All right. Next one.
This one I really enjoyed. This is kind of brand spanking new. From Wild Eye, Smoke and Mirrors: The Story of Tom Savini. I'm sorry, the story of Tom Savini. Look at that. It's got this really cool slipcover too, but that's the main artwork. It's pretty badass.
I like the slipcover artwork.
Yeah, I do too. It glows in the dark, I think. And it came with a really cool poster. I don't know if the poster's still available, but I got it. Anyway, this is an amazing documentary on Tom Savini. Just the guru of gore, you know, like from the 70s, 80s, and beyond. And it talks about his love of the genre, what got him into it. Definitely Lon Chaney film, Man of a Thousand Faces.
Mm-hmm.
Or the film about Lon Chaney, rather.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
Wasn't
It was James Chaney who played
Yeah.
Lon Chaney. I always get that mixed up. But
It'd be great if he was in it.
yeah, he definitely took inspiration from watching that film at the theater. And it talks about his association, obviously, with George Romero and his friendship with Greg Nicotero and Howard Berger, and just so many great people on this documentary. You just learn so much. I knew about his Vietnam background,
Mm-hmm.
and I knew he was a combat photographer for Vietnam,
Yep.
and he would study like
How
You-
people die.
yeah,
and-
like the study the
yeah.
viscera on the end of the arms, and was like,
Yeah.
you know, he'd kind of turned his brain off and thought of it as a magic trick, you know, because I got to create this someday for a movie because this is so
Yep.
horrible, and that's kind of how he got through the war in a way,
Yeah.
because he saw it through a lens, kind of like you're just watching a movie. But really, obviously, it was a
Yeah.
horrible time for him,
And that's what I think is
and,
so.
and anybody in Vietnam for that matter.
I think that's so weird, and that he went through that and he photographed a lot of the war and stuff and saw things, and yet that was his career path, you know, to go create
Yeah.
death, and it's
Yeah.
kind of ironic in a way, like
Yeah, and he really he went through a lot. Even when he got back, like he had post traumatic stress syndrome as well. Like a lot of
I think every vet did.
them had, yeah, and goes through that. Rewinding a little bit, it talks about his brother who died of a accidental gunshot. I didn't know that. I actually did not know that. That was actually very moving when I saw that. It was an accident. His brother died very young age of an accidental gunshot. I think somebody was cleaning their gun and it went off and it hit him, or something like that. Very powerful documentary. You learn a lot, and obviously it's got the great gory bits from all our
His
favorites.
classic scenes, the
Yeah,
Friday the
it's-
13th, Kevin Bacon
Yeah,
scene.
the
I mean, it's all
arrow,
that stuff, but
the arrow scene.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Definitely the burning maniac blows his own head off.
Mhm.
Created. I think his favorite moment when he did effects was probably creating Fluffy from Creepshow, because he was such a huge fan of creating creatures and monsters. You know, just he grew up on Universal Monsters and all those great films, and he wanted to create them. He was known as the master of splatter, basically in the '80s with all the slasher films he
Dawn
did,
of the Dead,
one
and
after the
yeah.
other. So he nearly got to create like actual creatures. So aside from like the Dead movies
Does it talk
and
about his
Creep Show, he really got to create like monsters, which he had a blast.
Does it talk about any of the movies he starred in later, or is it more of the early stuff?
Because
he was in.
Yeah, it talks about Dusk Till Dawn. It talks about Knight Rider.
It's My Party, or it's my.
He doesn't
It's
talk
My Party,
about. He
I'll Die
doesn't
at the
talk about the Ripper.
The Ripper.
He doesn't talk about the Ripper.
But I know because he was in a movie called Death Foretold.
Yep.
It was in. It's My Party and I'll Die If I Want To, which is a really great film.
I like the Ripper.
Yeah.
I like the Ripper. He hates the Ripper.
Don't bring that up.
Yeah, especially at a convention. Don't bring that up because he won't sign it. But it's a great documentary, guys. If you want to learn more about the man and his work and just his work, just such a huge library of depravity and just chaos, man. Controlled chaos, I guess is a good word for it.
I always liked when he went on like the talk shows and stuff.
Yeah, that's on here. Like he went on
David
Letterman. He's the only special effects guy to ever go on a late show.
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah.
Because he was showing, because that's when Creep Show was coming out. And
Yeah,
he was
it shows
talking
Fluffy.
about Fluffy.
Oh yeah, and Dead Ned from Creep Show.
And I don't remember what show it was, but remember the kids in the audience, and he's like showing all the kids like some of the like how he gets hands to move, like he's got a whole control. It's cool. Like,
this is a really cool documentary. I highly recommend it. It goes behind the scenes of a lot of his great films. It shows some unreleased footage from Day of the Dead, like just working with Joe Pilato or some piece, just stuff in his chest with all those real guts and shit. Such a great documentary. Smoke and Mirrors, the start of Tom Savini.
Right on.
That's mine. What you got?
Ninja Badger said another documentary is Nightmare Factory on horror practical effects. It's on YouTube, so easy to find.
Yep, I've seen that.
I started watching that. I didn't get around to finishing it, but I do remember that one.
That was a good one. Great
Anything
guitar.
else? Was that it?
That's it.
All right. Now the next one. This one's not going to be for the faint of heart.
We're gonna bring the move down, Ghoul.
Yeah. I'm sure it was a very famous documentary that came out, I think, 2000. Well, it came out in 2012, but it was filmed in '96. I'm gonna try to butcher this name. Shirazaki Kiyotaka. Taka?
That's how I'm using listen to Ghoul pronounce.
Oh, you should talk Ian McCullum.
Whatever,
Malcolm.
Blue Sunshine.
Ian Malcolm.
Fuck you, Blue Sunshine.
Ian Malcolm. That was one big pile of shit.
Yeah, that was a bad one.
So Orozco the Embalmer. It's a documentary. It's a shockumentary. But this isn't like a typical documentary. It's not going through the history of films or anything like that. But what this does is this takes you into the bowels of Colombia and follows a real life embalmer. Orozco has been doing this for like 50 years.
Yeah.
And it really it's really depressing. It's because it's not all about him embalming these people. You do see that, but the camera work when they go through the village of Colombia, it looks war torn.
All dilapidated.
And it's really depressing to see the shape that Colombia and just a lot of places are in. I mean, let's face it. But what it does is he kind of Orozco talks about why he does things, but he's very blunt about things. He does not.
You don't beat around the bush.
Yeah, he doesn't have time to. He does it the best work he can do. But yeah, he doesn't beat around the bush as far as anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go to his buddy, and there's another scene where shows taking a brain out and how he takes the face off, basically flips it down, takes the brain out, stuffs it with paper, everything. I mean, literally, this thing, it's not typical of what you would see anybody getting, something professionally happen around here. And you do learn a lot. You learn about like how he goes about doing this. He does talk about it. The really sad part is he ends up, there's a shot where they're walking in the street at the end and actually find out just through all of the bad conditions and everything like that, Orozco actually passed away during the filming of this movie, or documentary.
Him and the director were really close.
Yeah, and it literally,
You can feel
it's
it.
like the whole village.
Yeah.
Because there was only one embalmer, and aside from his buddy. That was it.
Which is crazy when you think about it.
I mean, you gotta think
All
of
the death and violence.
Yeah. And
Wow.
like I said, it's a depressing movie for sure, but you do, I guess you get kind of an appreciation for what people have to do, you know, to survive. I mean, you got to make a living. There's no or breathing masks or apparatuses or anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he does wear one at one point for something, but yeah.
It's also a movie that makes you really appreciate your life.
Yeah.
You know how good you got it.
Yeah.
Because in places like Colombia, holy shit, man.
Yeah, and just places like that. But yeah, Massacre Video put this out. There was a VHS release. You can find it here and there. I don't know if they're ever going to re-release it, but you can, it's still pretty reasonable. It's not like it's in the stratosphere as far as price goes. So yeah, if you got the stomach for it, because it is real. It's not.
And it's all
it's
real.
Not fake.
There's no Tom Savini there. That's real
No.
shit.
So
real. There's
there you
that scene where he takes that baby out and
It's actually made the cover, the reversible cover.
Yeah.
And he doesn't actually. He doesn't hold it up like that though. I think that must just have been like a still shot. Because during the filming they show like a baby casket, but he doesn't actually hold it up like the picture. But yeah, it's depressing.
very depressing, but makes you really appreciate
Like
the art of embalming and also your own self. You know,
Mhm.
live life to the fullest. You know, kind of like if you watched Aftermath.
Yeah.
It kind of makes you think like,
Yikes.
wow, yeah, I'm gonna get cremated.
Okay. How many are you watching?
Huh?
How many are you watching?
3.
All right.
Well,
anyway.
okay, Ninja Badger did say something, but it's about video nasties and how you should see it, but I know that's one you're going to talk about.
We're getting there too.
Oh, yeah, that's coming, man.
Video nasties.
Yeah, it's coming up, brother.
Mary Whitehouse is rolling around in her grave.
It must be cut. Oh, just wait. Just wait.
Yeah.
All right. I'll go next. I have Diary of a Deadbeat, Jim Van Bever story. Anyone who knows who Jim Van Bever is, he made so many great shorts, and he also did Deadbeat at Dawn and Charlie's Family, aka Manson Family.
Mm-hmm.
Some of my favorites. He also directed some Pantera videos and Necrophagia videos.
Mm-hmm.
And Superjoint Ritual, the Alcoholic video.
For Jimmy running around.
So, yeah, so he's a very underground figure, takes no shit from anybody type of guy, and he's just a master of his craft, believes in what he does. And I do think he is his own worst enemy. I will say that. He does things his way, you know. It's the Van Bever way. He doesn't compromise with. He's not an easy guy to work with. It's his way. Sure. It's his way or the highway, basically. That's kind of the vibe I got when watching this. And I'm talking to his friends personally too. I hear, he can be very difficult at times, but man, he really can deliver some amazing cinematic. What he achieves, cinematically in storytelling, is just fucking unmatched, man. Jim Van Bever is a legend in the underground, for a reason. And when you watch this, you'll know why. It goes through every aspect of his life, from him growing up doing his short films. It's amazing how young he was when he was doing like Ray Harryhausen type stuff.
Yeah.
Just making, just stop motion animation stuff. It's unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's making like homages to Evil Dead and stuff like that. And then when he got older, obviously he started to make Deadbeat at Dawn. You've seen Deadbeat at Dawn, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Such an amazing. I wouldn't say a horror movie, but it's more like a
good cinematic experience.
Yeah, like it's a real action-packed kung fu / drug dealer /
It's like a combat shock feel.
Little bit of romance here, him and his girl before she gets mutilated. but such a great documentary exploring Jim's life and his career, and you get to see the late great Killjoy Frank Pucci talk about him with necrophagia doing the videos. Emboldened I Breathe, Pride Lips of Silence, some others I can't remember at the top of my head. And then of course they talk to a lot of his fans, just random fans that go to conventions, and it's really cool. It really brings you closer to a man. Like I said, he I think he's his own worst enemy with let's put it this way. I would love to meet him, but I would like to meet him when he's in a good mood and when he's sober.
Yeah.
You know,
We did remember that a couple times online?
yeah, we're not gonna
around
go
it,
there. But yeah, exactly. Jim's a great guy, great filmmaker, and he deserves a damn good budget. And I really wish Gator Green would come out. If I ever did.
Ninja Badger said another recommendation is In Search of Darkness, covers the 80s pretty much A to Z.
I wish I had that. There's a second one too, and there's a third one on the way. I think it's like it's a fan funded.
Yeah, it's kind of like the fan Friday the 13th one that came out a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I have seen the trailers of those, and they look absolutely amazing.
Well, I'm sure you learn
Yeah.
shit. They should do it for the 70s though.
Yeah, agreed.
Because there's a lot of more. I think there's more unknown films in the 70s than there are in the 80s.
Oh, Ghoul's got one of my favorites coming up. I can see it.
Oh, this one? I'm just kidding. No, unfortunately, I didn't get the Blu-ray. I'm still on search for that one.
I did better than it.
Yeah, shut up.
It has a bunch of bonus shit.
Directed by Sean Donahue, The Blood, Guts, and Sunshine. So this takes you into Florida. And it takes you into some of the most sleaziest films. And Sleazebox, mind you, is on the top of that list right now.
Hot Glazer. Unearthed Films.
Unearthed Films, yeah. Oh, sorry, I was going to get to that. Yeah, Chris Woods at Sleazebox. They put out films American Holocaust, The Death Score Service 1, 2, and 3.
Chaos AD.
Chaos AD, I mean, Christ, you name it. It's just, they're the Sleaze. They got a bunch of shit coming up. You guys definitely check out the Sleazebox.
Naked Cannibal Campers.
Yeah, they got a bunch of stuff coming out. But yeah, this documentary basically, it looks at Florida horror, and it's a little older. I think this was 2021. But it also talks about old films that were filmed, like Death Dream, Creature from the Black Lagoon, like the original, like
Totem Don't Play with Dead thing.
Blood Feast, yeah, Death Curse of Tartu. I remember that one.
Yeah.
So yeah, they really do a great job at it with interviews. You get Sean Donahue on here, Bob Glazer, Shelby McIntyre's on here, Stephen Byro, Marcus Cook. Yeah, you name it. Rick Danford, like just a bunch of anybody who's
Joel Wynkoop.
That's right. But yeah, it's who's anybody in the underground in Florida.
Unbelievable documentary.
Now you can speak more for like the Blu-ray, like what it has that this one doesn't, because I know there is stuff that is on the Blu-ray that's not on here, unfortunately. But but yeah, it's
either way you slice it, it's an amazing documentary.
You definitely learn a lot about, and there's so much.
I learned a lot.
There's so much history in Florida. It's like listening to like Florida death metal bands. You know, there's just so much history.
Yeah, there
and
is.
film underground films is no different, and even some of the mainstream stuff. So definitely, if you guys like the kind of sleazy, gory type film, you definitely learn a lot with this one. I think John Waters is actually in this too, if I remember correctly, because he was in one of their films. I don't remember which, but John Waters is also in here, which is cool, and Joe Dante. So definitely check it out. Go to Gator Blade Films and the Sleazebox. You can probably get it there.
I couldn't believe when I watched that how many horror companies are in Florida. I didn't know how many.
That's what I'm saying.
It was ridiculous.
You never realized.
I mean, I only knew Sleazebox and Sean Donahue and Unearthed Films.
Those are the two big dogs.
Yeah, I didn't know that there were that many, different companies.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I guess going into the Blu-ray, it has a bunch of extra stuff.
I think extended.
One of my
interviews-
favorite things is the Grindhouse video tour. That was really cool. That's worth it right there. It's a store in Florida.
Yeah, that just opened up a couple of years ago.
It's amazing.
And I know you said extended interviews are on there, especially with like Unearthed with Steven and Marcus.
Yeah. There's extended interviews on there.
Now, obviously, there's a little controversy with that. We're not going to get into that,
Oh,
but there's a little controversy with that one. But we'll leave it at that.
Hail Unearthed Films.
Yeah. So, yeah.
It's a great documentary. Any questions on that?
Ninja Badger. Recent one from Severin was Woodlands, A History of Folk Horror, came out in folk horror box set. If you like the genre, it covers everything.
You're speaking my language, brother. Those are all coming. I don't have that box set because I didn't feel like mortgaging my house for it, but
it's
I do
expensive.
have the
The folk horror. Yeah.
It's a great documentary. For my turn?
Yeah.
Oh, we have two more here.
Yep.
Okay. Now this is one of my absolute favorites, and I if memory serves me right, I believe this was kind of like a crowd fundraiser movie or documentary too.
Yeah.
But I did find it on Amazon, which is weird.
It's possible.
But,
Yeah, distribution, but yeah.
The history of metal and horror. I keep doing that. Metal and horror. And if you know myself and Ghoul, you've been following us, you're friends with us, or whatever. This is our life.
Yep.
Metal and horror together is like peanut butter and jelly, or wax in a car.
Whacked on, whacked off.
Exactly.
Pee Wee Herman
You
in
get
a
the
movie
point.
theater?
Shut up, Ghoul. You get the point. You get the point.
That was good.
Amazing documentary. So many great moments on here. Two of my favorite frontmen of all time, George Corpse Grinder Fisher, respect to Nick, and Philip H. Anselmo.
Who's sitting right here?
Yeah, right. Are both on here, and they talk about horror movies, along with Johnny Ramone, Kirk Hammett.
Joey? Joey or Johnny?
Joey's gone. It's Johnny.
Oh, Johnny. No. I don't know.
Kirk
how old
Hammett.
he is.
Um,
Kirk's perfect for that. And Phil.
yeah. I mean, it's really definitely it is what it is. It really explores like the origins of horror and metal, like from I Put a Spell on You to Alice Cooper to Rob Zombie to Portal to whatever. Like it really goes into what horror is in those two genres and how it brings those two genres together. And that was my favorite part of this, because I've always thought for years, before this was even thought of, that metal and horror were so well connected.
Yeah.
I mean, we listen to
to
so many extreme death metal, black metal bands that just like say it's like, a horror movie.
I mean, just think about
in
this.
audio form.
Just think of some of the soundtracks too. I mean, some of the early like SOV films.
Yeah, definitely.
They had the horror sound or the metal soundtracks.
Yeah.
Like
like Creepers with Dario Argento.
Yeah, it's metal everywhere.
Pure Motorhead and Iron Maiden all over there.
Well, it's like, what's the one, Deathgasm when they're playing Immortal?
No,
In the car.
Emperor.
Or Emperor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were headbanging her, and I remember that. This is probably my favorite. If I had to pick a favorite out of here, it's probably my favorite. I love it. I watched this so many damn times. Man, there's so many people on here. Dave Mustaine's on here. There's just so many people that you would. Oh, Doyle from Misfits is on here.
Yeah. He's gotta be on there.
Yeah, just so many great celebrities and so many people that are into metal and horror are on here. And it really is an awesome marriage. So I would highly recommend either going on the website or maybe you can snag it on Amazon like I did. The history of metal and horror. And also Michael Berryman is the host, which makes it 10 times better.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing. I absolutely love it. Does anybody know this?
Ninja Badger said he does.
Hell yeah, brother.
Right on.
This is an amazing documentary. One of my absolute favorites.
All right. The other one I have, the next one I have is Amityville Confidential. I've always been intrigued by like the Amityville house in New York. And when you're early on, when you saw the original movie in '74, like and then you heard that it was
79.
79. Yes, 79.
Yes.
Well, I thought 74.
What do you?
Sorry. But you know, the more you actually hear about the house, this answers a lot of questions. It's a History Channel trifecta, so it's basically like 3 different shows that featured on, or 2 of them feature on the History Channel. The other one's actually different. That talks about the 2005 remake with our buddy Ryan Reynolds, which actually was filmed partially in Wisconsin, which is cool.
I didn't actually know that.
Yeah, I think it was something with the boathouse.
Oh, that makes sense.
But there's a documentary that talks about the filming about that and before it was released, because this came out in 2005, so it was just before that movie was put out. So, but no, basically what this does is it talks about, because there's a lot of speculation that the Amityville Horror House is not haunted at all. The story did happen, the murders did happen, but you know, the whole haunting of said house does not exist. You know, they say it doesn't exist, and it's basically
Do
just
you
kind
think
of,
George and Kathy Lutz started calling bullshit?
yeah, oh yeah.
Oh.
Well, it's just people that live there. I mean, this house has gone through so many transformations with different people.
But the story that Jay Aston wrote on the confessions of George and Kathy Lutz, you're saying that didn't happen? Some of it did happen.
Yeah, it's kind of.
What do you think was embellished?
It's
That's the
kind of-
best word for it.
Yeah,
Embellished.
it's up in the air, and that's what this kind of tries to tackle.
Okay.
Because anybody who's lived there, they don't say anything, you know, being paranormal. I mean,
It's a good point.
you know, so it does a good job of tackling that.
I think, and then Lorraine Warren added a lot of credibility to that
Yeah.
too.
It's like The Conjuring, you know, house, or Annabelle, you know, all this stuff that Ed and Lorraine were a part of.
Rest in peace.
They did, you know, everything they like did seemed to like amplify it times 10 just because their name was attached to it, and this is no different. But no, you do really learn a lot. The first one is about the haunting of it, if it exists, if it doesn't, different cases that people have claimed. Then the other one is is it like a hoax? So there's a controversy of the house, like when people started to take the famous windows, they took them out.
Oh yeah, the eye windows.
Yeah, they repainted it, like all this stuff.
They changed the address. Too.
Yeah, because they were getting so many people there, people couldn't live there.
Uh-huh.
So this really does a deep dive into the house, and you do learn a hell of a lot about today. Well, 2005. I know it's changed quite a bit.
Yeah.
A lot of people say you can't even tell it's the house anymore unless you knew.
Yeah,
it was there.
I mean, you can. Yeah, I mean the eyes are gone, obviously. Like you said.
Yeah, but
And
it's
then
like
the house is like white now, I believe.
yeah, it looks totally not even like the original.
But it's you
so.
can tell it's still 112 Walsh Avenue house,
Yeah.
man. You know.
So yeah, this is definitely a fun one if you like the Amityville story. I love the books. And Amityville 2, The Possession is my favorite damn movie.
Amityville 2, The Possession is the best.
Great. That's my
That's the
favorite
best
one to see.
depiction of the Ronnie James Dio murder.
The Ronnie James.
Wow, I have another one, Skidgore. The Ronnie James DeFale murders. Yes, I think Amityville 2 hit it on the head on that one.
Yeah. Or you could even watch Nathan Rumler's Amityville Vibrator. You can do that too.
There you go. There's a shout out.
So, yeah, if you guys kind of like the history of the house and want to kind of learn, this is a good one to get. And it's not terribly expensive. You can probably get it for like $5.
Yeah, they came in that pack with 1, 2, and 3. I have that. That was a great documentary. Yeah, there's a lot of history with that house.
Even today, and it just, yeah, but do I think it's haunted? No.
Another one I would recommend too is My Amityville Horror, the Daniel Lutz story.
Yeah.
That one's pretty good. I think
I've
that's
not seen that, but I've seen.
that one was pretty good. Like he
Yeah,
explains
never
like
watched it, though.
what happened and you know how he was abused as a child and how George Lutz was and how he was into like the occult and stuff.
he was a weird guy.
It
For sure.
explains a lot. I mean, but you know, at the end of the day, I mean,
It's a speculative thing. It's like UFOs. Do they exist at the end of the day or don't they?
well, UFOs do exist. We just don't know who's piloting them. They do exist.
Leslie Nielsen.
Yeah, maybe.
All right, anything?
Ninja Badger, have you seen A History of Horror with Mark Gaddis? A little tame and formal, but good.
Absolutely. I love all three of them. They were great. My favorite was the Hammer horror one.
Mm-hmm.
Or no, my favorite was actually when he did the Universal shit and he got Lon Chaney's. He saw Lon Chaney's like makeup kit.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
a part in there where he sees Lon
That's
Chaney's
cool.
makeup kit and he sees like the teeth from London After Midnight and the top
Yep.
hat and shit. Oh,
Wow.
that was a great documentary. Hell yeah, brother. Definitely know that. I wish they would release that on DVD or Blu-ray
It's probably
because
coming.
you
Somebody
can
will
find
pick
it
up.
on BBC, YouTube.
Mhm.
But I would love to have that. There's another one called The Horror of It All, I think.
The horror of it.
That
all.
was a really good one too.
Yep.
They took it off YouTube. I don't know why, but it really was a fun one too.
Those Karens got to it.
I guess I have one more then. And
Yep.
one of my favorites. My favorite slasher franchise of all time, it's Crystal Lake Memories. One of my absolute favorites. Just I don't even know what to say. Like if you're a fan of the Friday the 13th series or Jason Voorhees or whatever, this is what you need to watch because this covers like every single damn nook and cranny of the series. Even literally the series, like Friday the 13th, the series, TV
That's a great
series.
series. I love
Yeah,
that.
very underrated. Just covers everything from top to bottom, from Sean Cunningham's start with making porn to
Yeah.
his association with the late great Wes Craven when they made Last House on the Left. Yeah, what a movie! Literally
Yeah.
changed the face
Horror,
of
yeah.
exploitation and horror forever. But yeah, it's a great scene. It's kind of a sad documentary too because you realize how many of these people are gone now.
Yeah, I mean, we got to meet some of the cast. A couple of years ago at Days of the Dead, and
Yep.
yeah, that was so cool.
But I mean, you get to see Betsy Palmer on here, and you get to see,
rest in peace.
yeah, I mean, and Steve Dash from Vert 2,
Mhm.
definitely one of my personal favorite, Richard Broker.
Yeah.
Ted White, another of my favorites. I mean, there's so many. Danny Steinman, the director of Part 5, he's on here. I think pretty much everyone that was alive at the time is on this documentary. Another good one is His Name Was Jason. His Name Was Jason, or Crystal Lake Memories takes a lot from the first one, His Name Was Jason,
Yeah.
but expands it, you know. It makes it... I like His Name Was Jason because Tom Savini hosts it, and he makes it like really entertaining, you know. But this one, Corey Feldman, Tommy Jarvis in Part 4, and so does Part 5, narrates it. And it's really a great documentary if you're a fan of the Friday the 13th series. Highly recommend it. I'm sure everyone and their mother have seen this.
Or seen at least His Name Was Jason.
Yeah.
Like you've at least seen one of the two.
Another honorable mention I would say that I forgot to bring would be Never Sleep Again, the Nightmare on Elm Street
Yeah, that was a good one.
documentary,
I like that one.
for sure.
All right.
So yeah, we will get into our honorable mentions.
Nope. we got the
Oh,
big
yeah,
Bama
okay.
Jamma. The one
Oh,
that,
I forgot.
the only.
I got two things.
Here we go. Yeah, what's up?
Actually, right after you said, or actually, he said this before you talked about Never Sleep Again.
Okay.
Mhm.
So he brought that up as well. And that it's 438 minutes.
Yeah. It has some
Holy
time
crap.
to watch that one.
Yeah. For sure.
And
Worth
the other
every-
question comes from Megan Went, and she asks, what is the guy in the middle's name?
Stu.
What is the...
This is Stuart.
Oh, yeah, Stu. This is Stu.
Yeah.
He's our mascot.
Yeah.
Wearing an Impetigo. I said it right this time.
Impetigo.
Impetigo. I said in the ghetto last time. Yeah.
Yeah, he's our mascot. Just hanging out. All right. So, as Ninja Badger, you asked, you shall receive
Oh, yeah.
the video nasties, parts 1 and 2.
Some of my favorites.
Wow. I mean, really, without going on a 12-hour rant. So basically, it comes in 2 parts. The first one deals with like that first wave of the video nasties, and then the second one kind of dabbles with the newer ones,
and it talks about the James
or the later
Bulger,
ones. Yep.
Bulger Child's Play 3 case.
Oh yeah. But yeah, what do you say about the video nasties? I mean, nowadays some of these are pretty tame compared to.
What amazes me about that is the whole hysteria at the time.
I mean, literally, they had tape burning.
And myself, me and Ghoul, I mean, we're too young for that shit. But
Yeah.
But I mean, we own like most of those damn movies.
Now
you
we
know?
do, yeah.
And you watch them, and you just think like,
I can
really?
see maybe back then, but
the Beast
now-
in Heat.
Yeah.
You know. I mean, I can see Cannibal Holocaust and
Even now,
I Spit
yeah.
on Your Grave as being
Yeah.
very iffy movies. I mean, I can even see that these days.
Like even because I remember like Cannibal Man
Cannibal Man, yes.
with John Saxon
No,
or
he wasn't. You,
No.
you mean Cannibal Apocalypse?
Cannibal Apocalypse.
Yeah, that
Sorry,
was-
no,
That was a good one too.
Cannibal Man
Cannibal Man's a good one.
with the horses, like
Yeah,
in the meat slicing factory, like
yeah.
that I can understand. Like even today's standards with PETA and just people in general,
Mm-hmm.
like you know, if you're doing real life stuff, you know, we understand it happens, but
Mhm.
yeah, to see that in a film,
But when you watch Driller Killer, it's like it's relatively. I mean, I don't want to say tame, but I mean,
it's violent,
rather than you watch a
Get
movie
that.
like Chaos or something, it doesn't like
right?
explode on the
I mean,
screen.
you look at a movie like.
It was just a sign of the times.
You know, that would be a fun list to do. Like today, like video nasties from 2000 till now.
August Underground 1, 2, 3. Pretty much everything Fred's done.
But I mean, even like Brain Damage,
Yeah.
you know, or Brain Dead. Sorry, not Brain Damage. Like Brain Dead, Dead Alive. Like
Okay.
even that would like.
What? No pudding.
Don't start.
Lionel, there's a beetle.
That's a beetle. God damn it. Stop
No
it.
one will ever love you like your mother. Okay, we're not
Stop
gonna
it.
start there now. Not gonna start.
So
Ninja Badger is from New Zealand too. So Peter
yeah,
Jackson.
definitely like that Peter Jackson.
Yeah,
I
bro.
love it.
We have a stowaway.
And I mean, even Evil Dead is on here, which is
Yeah.
hilarious. Like if you look
And
at that
Sam
now, it's
Raimi fucking fought tooth and nail
Yeah.
to get that son of a bitch off.
because it's like almost a slap comedy horror in a way. I
Mhm.
mean, it's scary, yeah. It's got some parts, but man,
Yeah.
I think the tree rape scene probably did it. That's
Yeah.
a little suggestive.
We're-
She's getting the wood.
Yeah. Sandwich.
You know, toolbox murder, zombie creeping flesh, you name it. Just
any Fulci.
any Fulci movie to be on.
Yeah.
I mean, just
New York Ripper, especially. Though.
that's a very violent.
That's
movie.
that's even a movie where you're like,
It makes you like
Holy
maniac,
shit.
Yeah.
yeah, that's some real shit.
And even looking back now, I can see why some of these are on there. Some of them
Uh-huh.
I'm kind of like, okay, really?
Yeah.
But some of them, when you look at them, even by today's standards,
Like
I'm
Nightmare.
wow.
Nightmare's on there.
Yeah. Because some of the scenes, I mean, I don't know, like a Serbian film would be on there now for sure.
Anthropophagus. is on there.
Anthropophagus.
Absurd is on there. Axe.
Absurd
I don't know
is-
why Axe is on there.
Absurd isn't even that bad.
No, Axe isn't either.
No.
It's just a really good psychological type movie.
So, you know, if you haven't seen these, I
It must
know
be cut.
you can still get these. I know I had to pick these up at a convention at Days of the Dead, but I'm pretty sure you can probably still get them somewhere.
Mhm.
I'm not really sure on price point, but
You can check
yeah,
it
you
out.
definitely need to get. And you need to get both parts
Yeah,
because I didn't own part 2 for the longest time, and you
'Cause
miss out on a lot.
it's a really, really good continuation.
And it's got the original trailers, which is cool
Yeah.
because YouTube is such a bitch
Yeah.
that you can't watch half of the trailers on there.
And some of the trailers they have on those too are like the real deal. Like those
Oh,
are
they're the
real.
uncut.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you'll see some gory shit in those.
Yeah.
So
It's fun just to kind of put it on as like just background.
Yeah.
You know, just to have a bunch of.
I'll do that on my
crazy shit
Halloween
playing.
display one year. I'll just have a white screen in the front yard where the
Yeah.
trick or treaters come up. Just play all the trailers.
I spit on your grave trailer.
Oh
I
man,
can't stop the bleeding.
Jesus.
That's one of my favorites. The second one I'll touch a little base on is the James Firmer portion of the video nasties, and it also talks about the James Bulger case, the tragic James Bulger case, which they related to Child's Play 3, which I think is bollocks, but
Bollocks.
yes, rubbish. But
What print did you
to
do?
each his own, man. Like I think that's those are two great documentaries from Severin again, knocking it out of the
Yeah,
park.
and you will learn a lot, and it is a lot to digest.
Mm-hmm.
But like, yeah, it's
You're
amazing.
gonna have some time to watch them too.
It's amazing that like they literally would go in these video stores
Oh,
and
I know,
like
man.
confiscate tapes
Burn
and
'em.
burn them. I mean, for Christ's sakes, really? Think of all the
They love you.
Think about all those cool fucking Fulci films.
I
big
know, it
boxes that
kills
they
me when
burn.
I see that. It kills me when I see all those
It
tapes
hurts.
being
It
burned.
hurts.
It's like, what the hell? I just want to jump in and save them, you know?
You probably would have been like, no.
And fucking Mary Whitehouse has been behind me.
Oh, God.
It's got to be cut, young man. Got to be cut. She's like a fucking goddamn fairy godmother or something
Yeah.
of gore.
You must
And I don't even mean that.
healthy.
I don't even. That was pretty good. I don't even mean that in a good way. Like,
It was so bad.
Jesus Christ, what do you? Well,
she's the Tipper Gore of
Yeah.
horror films.
exactly.
You
That's
know,
exactly what it
It's
was.
a good comparison.
And it's crazy to think like how far we've come because you can watch these movies as a scroll on fucking YouTube, and then you know the original Video Nasties VHS tapes go for ridiculous prices, and you can buy a DVD for like $5 of like
It's like
Beast,
10,
Beast in
15
Heat
bucks,
or
man.
something, you know. But it's
Nowadays,
all
yeah.
about you know collecting and nostalgia really with those. I'm glad that I was not around at that time because I really would not want to have been through that. But honestly,
It
it's
wasn't
kind
here,
of
though.
exciting though.
A lot of it was over in Britain. It wasn't here.
Well, yeah, a lot of it is exciting though because it felt like you were doing something wrong and forbidden, which you were. You were breaking the law by watching House by the Cemetery or something, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's something that you enjoyed with your friends. Like you'd go to your friend's house and just drink Kool-Aid, not that type, not Jim
No
Jones
Jim
Kool-Aid,
Jones Kool-Aid.
not that Kool-Aid, but you'd have a party with your friends, have a slumber party, and just throw on like Evil Dead or something.
See, and that's like in Found when he gets that videotape.
Yeah,
And he brings it home and it's like him and his friends just like
nicely put.
just
Are you gonna
watching
get me
this.
on a phone? Are you-
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
We're gonna move on.
We're done.
So we're gonna have some honorable mentions now.
I'm gonna run to the bathroom
Yep.
and grab a beer,
I'm gonna go after you.
and we're gonna get some shots ready because our next section you're not gonna want to miss. So, Ghoul will be back.
And then there was one. All right.
Have fun.
Ninja Badger, this is all for you, man. Flesh and Blood, Heritage of Hammer, or one of my absolute favorites. Pretty much anything you ever want to know about the Hammer horror genre is on here. Another kind of sad documentary because so many people involved in this are gone now. You know, you got Ygritte Pitt, obviously Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing, Roy Ward Baker. So many great people are gone, but their legacy lives on in the Hammer films, obviously. And this is a great documentary, solidifying their craft. Highly recommend it. Awesome. And we were talking about Kane before, To Hell and Back. We had the honor of meeting him, and it was such an honor. He was such a really cool guy. And this documentary really goes into his past, as far as bullying goes. And I think bullying is a really serious problem that we have these days. And I think Kane really addresses it well. And I'm glad he addressed it because you can tell when you watch it, he didn't hold back. Like he really was traumatized as a child by the bullying and stuff like that. And myself, I really wasn't bullied that much, but some of my friends were, so I kind of understood where he was coming from in this. And of course, it talks about his horrible burns, unbelievably horrible burns. Just a great documentary, and of course, it showcases his highlights. As of course, Jason from part 7, 8, 9, 10. Unfortunately, not in Freddy vs. Jason. That's all on here too. The whole controversy with that, and his greatest kills. One thing about Freddy vs. Jason, though, I mean, he got fucked out of being Jason, but he also created one of myself and Ghoul's favorite character in Victor Crowley, right?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, dude, like he fucking.
Fuck yeah.
Some of our favorite kills are in the. Thank you, Drew.
Product placement.
There you go. Are in
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored.
the Hatchet films. But Kane is a great guy. Very funny guy, but very serious at the same time. Takes his craft very seriously. So serious that he sprayed us with fart spray, right, Ghoul?
What?
Remember the fart spray?
Oh yeah. We stunk.
For days.
For days.
Daniel Harris talks about it on here about how Kane would spray this fart spray at conventions, and she could never figure where the hell that smell
Oh,
was
it's
coming
so bad.
from. So
But
then
it was
when
worth it.
so then when we met Kane at Wendigo, I brought that up. I'm like, so do you have Daniel Harris's fart spray with you? And he's like, I do. It's like for a free autograph. Can I spray?
Any choice you want?
Any choice you want? Can I spray? I'm like, yeah. It was worth it.
There's a picture.
Had to wash clothes a couple times, but it was worth it.
There's a picture where it's him like walking away, and it's funny because
Yeah.
it's us standing behind a curtain, and Kane Hodder because he was moving so quick that it's got like this real faded like he's like running away.
But he's got this shit-eating grit on his face. Like,
Oh,
I
man,
got-
he knew it. Yeah, it wasn't bad at first, but oh my god, it just.
Oh, it caught up though. It caught up.
Ooh.
I don't know if Haley's still watching, but she remembers.
Oh, that was bad.
That was awesome. Yeah, To Hell and Back. Excellent documentary on Kane Hodder, his life and his craft.
Mm-hmm. What you got?
Oh shit! I'm sorry. I'm right here. Heroes of Horror. If you're a fan of Forrest J. Ackerman type horror, Universal horror, sci-fi horror, you really will dig this. Really great documentaries on the one, the only Boris Karloff, Bela Lugosi,
John Kennedy.
Vincent Price. No.
He's not in that one.
Peter Lorre. Lon Chaney Jr. Just amazing documentary. I would recommend this if you want to hear more about the history of where
Vintage
horror
horror.
began. Yeah, vintage horror, where it began. And also would recommend 100 Years of Horror, hosted by Christopher Lee as well.
Sure. Yes.
And then I had to bring this one, The Birth of the Living Dead, George A. Romero documentary. He was still kicking when this was made, so he's actually on this, which is awesome. He talks about, kind of like what me and Gould were talking about before, about Dwayne Jones and Night of the Living Dead, the whole, how it was such a masterpiece of horror.
When you really
Still
look,
is. And when you look at like zombie movies, like that's where it began as far as
The walking
the
slow
flesh eating,
zombies, yeah.
the flesh eating came, because before that, they were like the voodoo
They were
zombies.
possessed, like white zombie. Yeah, they
Yeah.
were possessed.
My Luck was a zombie, stuff like that.
Mhm.
But Romero just pretty much took the whole mentality of the '60s, where the whole world was going to hell at the time. You know, racial violence and whatnot, and he just pretty much put it in the form where you had to deal with the problem, which is the dead won't stay dead. You know, and God, what would you do? Hope you had Dwayne Jones on your side. You know.
Well, he met an untimely fate.
Yeah, but that's a great documentary there.
Yeah.
I could talk for hours about that one. Ninja Badger, you talked about this one before. Woodlands Dark and Days Bewitched, A History of Folk Horror. This was an amazing documentary as well. I love the Blood on Satan's Claw part.
That's a good one.
Talks a little bit about, it shows a little bit about Crowhaven Farm, which I think is a very underrated film as well. Eyes of Fire is on here. Obviously Wicker Man. Anything to do with folk horror is on here. It really goes in depth. It's a great documentary from Cyber.
Midsummer would be on
Midsummer's on there, yeah.
Mhm.
One of my favorite anthology
That was a good I like that
companies
one.
is Amicus.
Yeah.
House of Horrors, one of my absolute favorites. Everybody's on here that's still around from the films, and they talk about their experiences and some of their favorite moments, and it's a great. It's pretty long. You have some time to watch this one, but and not a lot really happens. I mean, they show trailers, and then it's knowledge. You know, knowledge is free.
Now it's just free.
Knowledge is free. And then the last one I have is Herschel Gordon Lewis, Godfather of Gore. I had to have this.
Mhm.
You've seen this too.
Yep.
Like this is just
That's a
an
good
amazing documentary on the late great Herschel Gordon Lewis. David Freeman's also on here too. Just the pioneers of their time. Just
Way ahead of their time.
Way ahead of their time. Like just going from the whole nudie cuties to straight gore, which has never been done before,
Mhm.
to that extent. You know, I
In
mean,
color of all things, because
In
I mean,
color,
you
yeah.
had blood, but it was always probably ketchup. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
granted, you know, Herschel Gordon Lewis had that bright red
yeah.
paint, like
Even Hammer had like
Ripped it
blood
off,
look like ketchup, you know, but this really put it in your face, and him and David Freeman created a genre, basically.
Yeah.
They created
Splatter.
a genre. George Romero and Herschel Gordon Lewis are two pioneers of
They're the
horror.
godfathers
They're the godfathers.
of horror.
Absolutely. I gotta take a piss. Ghoul, it's the Ghoul Show.
What am I supposed to talk about? Jeez. All right, well, I guess I'm going to throw some more movies at you. So kind of going back to the recent watches. So these aren't documentaries anymore. I'll talk about a movie from 2009 called The Goat Herd. Very isolated film. And I mean that in the way that there's a guy who is basically a goat herder. He lives out kind of in the mountains, literally middle of nowhere. Great scenery in this film. And these three kids, I guess, teenagers, whatever, mid-20s, whatever you want to call them, they go out on a kind of adventure with each other, and one ends up getting hurt, and they end up finding this like shack, and it's literally like a homeless shack, just kind of made from parts that this guy lives. And you know, once you think like, oh, he's gonna help him, ends up holding him hostage and basically tying him up. And this guy's kind of demise, he's fighting his own demons of the loss of his wife and his young daughter. And it's like, I don't know necessarily if he takes it out on these people, but he's so broken, and you just follow this really dark path and trail with him into the demise. Very kind of sad, actually. It eventually kind of takes its toll, and you'll actually learn why. But this was kind of one, again, that sat on the shelves for a while. But yeah, great scenery in the mountains and stuff, and you know, not much of a soundtrack. It's just kind of sad, but good. Yeah.
Ninja Badger has a recommendation for a book called Beyond Terror, all on Lucio Fulci
Yes.
by Stephen
great book.
Thrower.
Great book. I do not own it, but I have seen it. Skidgore might actually know that one. The next one I'm gonna have is Jason, directed by Jason Christ. Savage Harvest 2. I actually really like this one. I know the first one everybody really talks about, but this was a really good one I recently saw. And it basically takes off of the first one, where it's these kids, you know, there's this accident that happens years ago in the first one, and then it kind of comes back and brings it back to this possession zombie, not really zombies, but they're kind of possessed.
What are you talking about?
Savage Harvest 2.
Oh yeah, that was a good one. First one's good too.
But yeah, and this was basically just a takeoff of that one. Just not really much, but Eric Stanze does the effects in this one, and he's just amazing at
He also
effects.
did a scrapbook. And
Scrapbook.
movies I can't remember.
Yeah. So this is definitely a really good one that I checked out. So.
That was
Right,
a good one.
now you brought up the Lucio Fulci book,
Who did?
Ninja Badger.
What book?
The,
The
Beyond Terror.
Oh yeah, man. Is that the? I'm trying to think of who's the director. The
No, it was the book.
writer.
Stephen Thrower.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't have that book. That book goes for so much. I wish I did.
Mhm.
I heard it's awesome though. He also did a lot of Jello books too.
All right, so now we're gonna get into.
Anybody got any questions
Yeah,
on
we
the
got a couple.
documentaries?
All right, we got a couple questions.
All
All
right.
right, we can do that now.
Yeah.
Are there any movies that you can't watch again because it was too disturbing?
That's a very good question. I gotta think.
Damn it. I mean, not really. I think once you watch as many movies as we do, and you've seen everything from Traces and Faces of Death to or Roscoe the Embalmer, I think some of the harder ones to watch are the real life, when you know it's real. I know there's parts I will not watch in Faces of Death or any of those, is when the animals come on. I won't watch those just because I have a dog, and
I'm
an
not a
animal
fan
lover.
of animal violence.
And I don't like, and I get it for the time, this is how it was done, but I'd really rather not watch it.
Yeah, I don't get off on that.
But there really isn't, I mean, I don't say I would never really watch them because they're bad or anything like that, but I think I get kind of sick of it after a while, is the torture porn style. I mean, you can only watch so many films that
Yeah.
just literally, it's just well, how many like vomit trilogy? That's
Yeah,
kind of one.
yeah.
Vomit Gore trilogy, like that's kind of one that like you can kind of watch once, watch it with subtitles or commentary to kind of understand it.
And I'm not a fan of vomit either. So.
Yeah, but it's not really a film that like I'm gonna sit there and want to watch. You know, like Evil Dead or something.
I know people who just watch movies like, you know, AU and Vomit Gore and Mustaine and
extreme
Tumbling
gore,
Doll of Flesh
you know.
and Women's Flesh May Regret, whatever. They watch those movies
Exclusively.
just. That's all they watch. They don't watch like a classic like Hexon, Witchcraft of the Ages, or Eyes of Fire, or you know.
Something with a little
You
more
know,
substance.
I love going there, but I don't need to be there all the time. You know.
Yeah.
I have the most brutal movies you can imagine,
Mhm.
but I also enjoy like
a story.
a really good classic.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
And I would say that's probably as close as I would say to answering the question. There's nothing I would really never not watch again.
That's hard. Yeah, I can't really think of one because they're so desensitized now. It's like
Yeah.
I guess the Vomit Gore trilogy maybe because I
It's
don't
kinda
I don't
one,
really
yeah.
like vomit. I find
And
it
there's
very
a lot of
disgusting.
that. Yeah.
I mean, when you watch somebody vomit into a bowl and then drink it, that's kind of disgusting
Yeah.
to me.
There's just certain
I can
things.
watch it, you know.
Yeah.
But Girl Next Door is kind of.
The Jack Ketchum one?
Yeah, I hope so. I'm sure the other one was probably bad too. No, Girl Next Door is a masterpiece, but it's done. Maybe just because I read his book, which the Sylvia Likens case that's based on. You know, like Gould said, the real life stuff is you know that's pretty hard at times. But yeah, I can't really say.
I mean, I would say maybe there's scenes that like kind of make you still kind of like Serbian film or Atraz. I mean, there's like the sodomy scene in Atraz where it's disturbing to watch.
Yeah, I can't really say
But
there's.
it's nothing I would never not watch again. It's just so. Yeah.
Nah.
All right. Anything else?
This one might become a very long conversation.
Uh-oh.
I'm good at that.
Ninja Badger asked,
Go get my beer
have
ready.
to hear what you guys thought of Halloween Ends. I was beyond pissed with it. What
Here
did
we
you
go.
guys think?
Here we go. Ghoul, you want to take it one first? I need a beer for this question.
Okay. Halloween Kills I liked. I like the gory approach it took. It made him more of a slasher.
Michael Myers versus the entire Haddonfield Fire Department.
Yeah, which I love that. That was,
I do too.
That was badass. Halloween Ends. I think it just didn't do justice for the. You know, there's parts that aren't the worst, but it just did not feel like a Halloween movie at all.
Michael Myers lives in a sewer down
He lives
by
in
the
a
river.
sewer, yeah.
Down by the river.
And he's almost got like a friend who like brings him shit, and it's like what the. It made very little sense.
No.
Yeah, it just.
I'll let you go.
I like how he goes back to the house and stuff like that, but I just don't.
You know, one thing we were talking about after that movie, like Laurie's daughter dies.
Yeah.
At the end of Halloween Kills.
Yep.
Right, he stabs her in that window or whatever.
Yep.
And then you would think. Maybe because they couldn't get the actress back. Maybe that's why. I don't know. You think there would have been more of
Mm-hmm.
a little story about, you know, about that, you know. Because at the end of Halloween Kills, you see Laurie, I'm coming, Michael.
Yeah.
You know?
I think they could.
I mean, you think
they
that she would go to the house and
well,
find her daughter.
What doesn't make sense, the boyfriend in this movie.
Oh, God.
He's such a main focal point, and that's not what you'd expect from a Halloween type film.
That's the
It was
part.
always the babysitters, and I feel like for so many movies they forgot about that. Like that was the Haddonfield babysitter murders. Like that was what this movie was based on. But they got away from that a long time ago.
I just
but
thought that Halloween Ends was a cheat, honestly.
it should have taken more time to write it better.
Yeah, and I forget the director's name, but I just think he missed the boat, honestly.
Yeah.
And bringing that whole boyfriend bullshit in there, and
Yeah, made him a central character, and I'm like,
yeah,
it didn't make sense.
I mean, if they would explain Laurie's daughter's death a little more, going in depth about that a little bit, and have like more. There were some good kills in it. I'll give you that.
I would say the one part that like almost got me was when Lori was wanting to kill herself.
Yeah.
You know, and that whole scene just was actually pretty moving because
Jamie Lee Curtis was great in it.
yeah, she really like.
And she stole my
you
truck.
literally.
Don't forget she stole my truck.
Yeah, she's driving Skidmore's truck around. But yeah, I mean, like when that whole scene, and then she takes the gun to go after Michael, it was like, okay,
Yeah.
that's kind of cool. But you know, other than that, there really wasn't anything memorable.
Yeah, and then the whole funeral at the end. Like, he's an old man and
Yeah,
goes into the grinder. It's like, really,
Jesus.
dude? You know?
Yeah. Like she's just walking with them and just like, oh, here you go.
I don't know. I personally didn't like the film.
No.
I don't even own it, honestly. I like.
I do, but
I don't mind the Halloween. What was it, 2018 one?
yeah,
And then Kills was cool.
Kills,
But
Kills was good.
Ends is I don't need that on my shelf. So.
And if that's how it ends, that's sad.
Yeah, and I kind of hope it does, honestly, because
They need
I
to
think
stop.
Michael Myers is like just become a commodity now. Same with all the other, you know.
Well, I mean, Friday the 13th left it alone after the real terrible.
Well,
remake.
hopefully,
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll come back. But
Maybe all three of them, Freddy, Jason, and Michael, all need to get together and like go on a massive killing spree.
you throw like Pinhead in there. Too.
He goes on.
Candyman can come in here.
Oh, Christ. Okay.
I like the first two. I didn't care for how it ends.
Oh,
Okay, we kept that short and sweet.
Sort of.
Never mind. I have one more.
Uh,
Ninja Badger. What are your thoughts on Fulci's Giallo period? So, perversion story, lizard in a woman's skin, don't torture a duckling, and
Oh.
the psychic.
fuck.
Psychic's good. I like that one.
I love Psychic.
That's a great. I love that cover too.
Honestly, Don't Torture a Duckling is one of my favorite Fulci films.
72. Yeah, it was pretty early.
73.
72. I'm gonna go 72, brother.
Is this 72?
I think it's 72. Yeah.
What is Lizard in a Woman's Skin? Is that 71?
70 or 70? 70, I think.
Well, anyway,
Oh,
those
yeah.
two are great.
And they're films that.
Going back to Lizard in a Woman's Skin, that part with the dogs.
Oh God, yeah.
Where he had to go to court because
Mhm.
the dogs look too realistic. They're all eviscerated and shit.
Yeah.
That was definitely. And Don't Torture Duckling, though, that psychotic priest.
Oof, yeah.
That movie has a lot of subject matter that I don't think could ever be made today in the PC Pussy
hell
society
no.
we live in today.
No.
I don't think they would touch upon child killing by a priest.
No,
That-
just because of all the
that one-
the sex allegations and everything.
Yeah,
like
that went to pretty dark places, but
Yeah.
Fulci really was a master of storytelling, and
Mhm.
yeah, the psychic was great as well.
Yeah.
Perversion Story, I've never seen.
I've
have to check that one out.
never seen that one.
Devil's Honey, I don't think I've ever seen either.
Well.
Oh, wait.
Ah.
Every time we think we're done, Ninja Badger brings us more.
Keep them coming to
Perfect.
make our job easier.
Which sequels do you think were better than the first?
For what?
Amityville 2. We talked about that one.
Oh yeah, Amityville 2, yeah.
That was definitely better than the first.
I kind of like Phantasm 2 more, honestly. You get more of the ball.
Yeah, because there's really only one or two scenes that's in the
But the
first
dude
one.
does piss himself in the first one. That's fun.
Yeah. You just see it drip out on the flicks.
Yeah.
Evil Dead 2, I liked. Not maybe as.
You're alone on that one.
I do like the first one, but the second one I do like.
I do like the second one
But
as
it's
well.
still, that's what I'm saying, it's not as good as the first.
I
The
like
original's
I like
better.
Return to Salem's Lot too, but it's not as good as the original.
No.
But I do like that movie.
Yeah,
I do like Pet Cemetery 2. I don't like as much as the first one.
no. Not as iconic.
Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy's Revenge. That
That's
was,
my favorite, so I definitely. But that's the thing, it's hard to answer that because, like, and I mean, Amityville is kind of like
Friday
an
13th
easy
Part
cut and
2 is
dry.
Yeah.
Texas
Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 is fun.
That one's fun.
Take my plate, you dog dick!
Bubba's got a girlfriend.
Yeah. I did sure.
We got to meet
Christos
Bill
to
Johnson.
the-
He's a fucking cool guy.
Bill Johnson and Bill Moseley.
And both Bills.
Yep.
I'm trying to think.
Dawn of the
Any other-
Dead. Does that count as a sequel?
No, because it's I mean, it's part of the Dead trilogy, but it's not like
Aliens is
Aliens would be.
second in the trilogy.
I don't know.
Predator 2 was cool. Danny Glover hunting predator in New York, or no, Los Angeles.
Los Angeles, yeah.
Um,
I think what other like twofers we got.
Hannibal was good. Or no, that would be because Manhunter was first, and then
Manhunter
Silence of
was,
the
yeah.
Lambs.
I mean, yeah.
Hellraiser 2, Hellbound Hellraiser 2.
Halloween 2.
I love Halloween 2.
I
It's
mean,
my favorite sequel.
But number one is so iconic. Is it to make it better?
I love the scene in the hospital in Halloween 2. That
Yeah.
that always gets me.
That's creepy as shit.
But Hellbound Hellraiser 2 for me, yeah.
That's a good
I
one.
like. I
That's
think
a
I
good one.
like that more than the original,
Yeah.
and I love the original.
Yeah, that's a tough question
That's
because it's
hard.
because you're talking about like franchises. Unless you're talking like the Halloween. or
American
something.
Werewolf in Paris? No.
No, that's terrible. Ah.
Any
You should
other,
have stayed in Paris.
any other questions?
Yes. Ninja Badger.
Keep them coming because we're pretty much done after this.
Which of the pre-Halloween films do you feel inspired the slasher boom? So examples are Black Christmas and Alice, Sweet Alice.
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
Yeah, repeat.
Which of the pre-Halloween films do you
Oh.
feel inspired the slasher boom?
Black Christmas, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I mean, you probably even before that you could talk Herschel Gordon Lewis. You could talk Blood Feast.
I would say Horrors of the Black Museum with Michael Goth, going around offing women. That's pretty much where it started, I think. Obviously, you got to say Psycho and Peeping Tom.
Are you talking like 70s or anything before?
Pre-Halloween.
Before Pre-Halloween.
Okay, so pre 78. I mean, you can even talk about
I'd even say Night of the Hunter,
like The Lodger. I mean, Christ, Alfred Hitchcock.
Lodger, yep.
Christ, any of those films that were, you know, they were all black and white. They're very simplistic, but man, the fact that there's some
There's a movie.
creep out there that
There's
or
a-
M.
Yeah,
Well, M is
there's a movie called The Severed Hand.
severed hand. Yeah.
I think that might have. I think Holly might have came up before that though.
No, there's an original severed hand, isn't it?
Um,
Like 40s or something.
I would definitely say Blood Feast
Yeah.
for sure.
hmm So I mean, they're out there.
Just trying to think of my collection here.
Yeah, same here.
Definitely all the giallos, like Bird with
Mhm.
Crystal Plumage, The Girl Who Knew Too Much, Mario Bava.
Die Screaming Marianne. That's a
Any like Pete Walker movies like Frightmare.
frightmare. I love that cover. Yeah.
There's a lot before Halloween. I would say Black Christmas probably.
Biggest slasher.
As
part.
far as the POV shots,
Right.
I
That
would
inspired Halloween.
yeah, I would say that, and yeah, definitely Black
I
Christmas.
mean, Last House on the Left, even at some parts when they're doing the torturing, and
Yeah.
I know it's more of a psychological mind fuck, but it's
Yeah, I can see.
we're holding knives to people. I mean, it wasn't really a slasher, but
Axe.
axe.
Axe is another
Yeah.
one.
So yeah. I'd say we
Don't
with
go in the basement. That's
Don't go in the
That's a
basement.
fun one. Any other questions?
So I have one, and then he said I have 5 more questions.
that. Okay,
Fire her up.
we're gonna get to the next part. We will answer all the questions.
Yeah, because we're pretty much done. We're just gonna.
So
yeah.
now we got to do a couple. What we're good at tributes, and of course, let's start off with the elephant in the room. If you don't know, 5 years gone.
Can't believe it's been
Killjoy.
5 years already.
Necrophagia. Now, if you guys don't know, we did a tribute 5 years ago when it happened, and that's been one of our more successful episodes, and we
Yeah.
had a lot of compliments on that.
Yeah.
So we really appreciate you guys for that, and you know how big of fans we were of his music, and
That was a hard one to do, but we're glad we did it.
so yeah, today we honor 5 years gone.
Frank Killjoy Pucci.
So
We're gonna have a shot for him, which is the only way to remember him, and cranking some necrophagia or something. Cheers, brother.
so Killjoy,
Frank,
Frank, we love you, we miss you.
gore forever. Killjoy lives.
Have a shot with us guys too.
That also goes out to Ruggiero Diodato as well,
Yeah.
and anyone else we lost. The Dark Angel guitar player, I forget his name, but yeah.
Yeah, he's gone. Yeah, I mean, I guess we can kind of reflect, I guess, a little bit on Necrophagia. Just, I mean, what that really kind of did for us musically, when you first heard him.
Yeah, you can go first.
Well, I mean, Necrophagia, I found out from you.
You want me to go first one?
No, I'm just saying. I found out, you told me about them first.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just blows you away to think that they were doing something before, bands were doing that. They were doing extreme
Definitely.
black and death metal before
Yeah.
that was even a thing.
They definitely were pioneers in their time,
And it's like Herschel Gordon Lewis, like just ahead of their time.
Yeah.
Bands like were Venom and Slayer, Metallica, like they were doing the more thrash stuff. You had Sabbath that was still around.
Yep.
You didn't have the shrieking vocals that Killjoy put down, and you didn't have that
He
just
took a
raw
lot.
aggression.
Yeah, he took a lot from early punk like Plasmatics, Wendy Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of took a little bit of Motorhead and Venom and Hellhammer and just kind of put it together. And bands like Mantis, aka Death, and Necro were forming around the same time. And then you had Possessed and even Dark Angel.
Sodom, just all these extreme bands.
Destruction.
Creator.
There's just so many bands. You could even say Slayer. There's so many bands. But as far as more extreme music like death metal would go, I would say Necrophagia definitely were pioneers.
And honestly, it's amazing even to this day.
And I don't think they ever got the recognition they deserve.
Well, the sad thing is they always say that about artists. When they pass away, their body of work becomes more known.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, I think this is
And the prices of their merchandise go up too.
But I think this all is kind of a case of that, because I start to notice more people in tape groups, vinyl groups, any Wastebook kind of group where there's music involved. More people are posting Necrophagia stuff.
Yeah, that's good.
But I also want to give a big
Keep the
shout out
legends aroused.
to Dread Records, Miguel over at Dread Records, doing a fucking phenomenal job at putting out these tapes. Black Blood Vomitorium, Cannibal Holocaust.
Holocaust de la Muerte.
Yeah, and he's just been doing a badass job, man, keeping the.
He's talking about putting Assembled in Blasphemy wrapping us out now.
Yeah, so he's doing a great job over there.
Keeping that gore flame going, man.
So we love it, man. We really appreciate that. And I'm sure all the fans do, because finding a Holocaust de la Muerte fucking cassette originally, you're paying $60, $70.
Look on Red Stream, yeah. A lot of that stuff is out of print.
So we thank him for doing that. Shout out to Renee. Anybody in the Gore Forever group. You guys are John, Joel.
Walter.
Yeah. So we're all kind of a brotherhood in that group, and that's kind of cool that we all keep his
Gunner.
dream alive, and now we got a dog.
I think the thing about Necrophagia for me is you have that perfect balance of metal and horror together, and using the word pioneers, but really they were pioneers of that.
So yes, now you can see. Here's Lugosi. Sorry to interrupt. He's been locked away, but now we're gonna do questions and stuff. So
he's free. He's a free dog now.
So say hi, Lugosi. Yeah.
You look at him.
All right. So
Rest in peace, Killjoy.
So like we said, 5 years gone, but
as long as we're around, you will never be forgotten, because every year we will always tribute you. Last year, great music. Definitely never forget you. Rest in peace, Frank Bush.
So yeah.
And much respect to his
Fine.
friends, family, and bandmates.
Yep, absolutely. Wayne and Joe and all them guys.
Phil.
Phil.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Fred Diablo, Maniac.
Anybody who's ever worked with
Chris
him.
Rayford, you know who you are.
Yeah. Anything?
Any questions?
Yeah.
All right. So now basically we're gonna open it up to the floor.
We're done.
We'll kind of. Hope you guys.
So
enjoy
I'm
it.
Skid Gore, he is Ghoul. And we'll see you guys next time, probably at a new location. You never know when we come back.
We'll
but
see.
we were descent into whore hell. That was a really weak scream, but whatever.
Let's do that again.
Guess I need more wisdom.
So that is a wrap on the show. Thank you guys for stopping by. But don't.
This is
leave
like
yet.
the pre. This is like the.
Now we get the post party.
Post party.
So let's have some fun. Let's answer
have some
questions
fun.
and
Have a
talk.
couple
So
drinks.
the floor is yours. We got our lovely assistant helping. So yeah.
Thank you,
what do we got?
Mr. Sandra, for doing this. Appreciate it.
I know we had 5, 4.
Well, Ninja Badger had 1, and then the next
Okay.
thing he said was 5 more.
Okay.
So
All right, let's do
bring
it.
them on.
Let's do
Fire
it.
away.
So,
You can be here
What?
for the questions. Okay. Yeah.
what are your favorite horror music scores?
Oh.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
If I had
That's a tough one.
Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah, that's a classic.
Oh, that's fucking classic.
That's a classic.
I think anything like Suspiria, anything with Goblin. Goblin's just amazing musicians, and
Claudio Savagni.
yeah, I mean, you talk about a lot of Giallo films having great scores. Any Italian films. I mean, they're really they're notable for sounding the way they do. Any recent stuff though? What was the movie we watched that the score was really good?
We watch a lot of movies where the
No,
scores
it was
go-
recent though.
Truth or Dare. That's the last one we watched. No, Horror Express.
The Horror Express theme. There you go.
Master, we're British, you know.
Gold? Yes, it's an involuntary specimen.
We're not gonna go there.
Oh, we could though.
We could.
Show's over.
Show is over.
I mean, the Giallo films are always good. Like I said, Goblin scores you can't go wrong.
Yeah.
Any John Carpenter scores are good.
Yep. Especially the fog.
Well, yeah, the fog's creepy. So yeah, I would say anything like that. Anything you want to add?
Yeah. The score to Alice Sweet Alice stands out. Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer always stands out.
Mm-hmm. Return of the Living Dead's good. I
Yep.
like that one.
Yep. Definitely Suspiria, Deep Red,
Mm-hmm.
Tenebrae as well. Any Argento Goblin collaboration. Even Beyond the Darkness, Buji Omega, Joe D'Amato movie.
That's a good one.
Even Anthropophagus has a great score. It's
Yeah,
weird. Man.
It's weird, but yeah,
I like it.
it's good.
Rosemary's Baby. I mean, that's a great score. Exorcist, Omen, Halloween, obviously.
I was gonna say John Carpenter's just
Even
classic.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
I do like the Nightmare on Elm Street.
The first one.
The first one, yeah. It's just that.
Candyman is a great score.
Mm-hmm.
By was it Philip Glass?
Yeah, a lot.
Did he do that? Did Philip Glass do it?
I don't
Anything by Bernard Herrmann as well, like Psycho and Dementia 13.
I think any of those real psycho slasher or pseudo slashers, whatever you want to call it, have great scores in them.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think a lot of great movies had a lot of great scores for sure.
And there's probably more we're forgetting, I'm sure, which, kind of off the top of our head here. So.
Yeah. Burial Ground. Oh God, I gotta say, City of the Living Dead
Oh, that is
as
good.
well.
That's a good one.
Obviously, Zombie. 5 minutes later.
It's literally the same damn soundtrack the entire movie. Oh, that's funny.
New York Ripper. Man, there's so many. It's just really impossible. The ones that
Italian ones for sure.
Some of my favorites are Black Christmas, Alice Sweet Alice. I would say.
Okay.
I'll ask the next one.
Next question.
Huh? Yeah, you quit being annoying.
VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, or 4K?
Well, I can't really chime personally on 4K because I don't own any. It's weird. I would say VHS because I like. Well, okay. I would say partially VHS because I like the graininess, especially when you get like 70s, 80s films where they're meant to be looking dirty, But I think.
Chainsaw Massacre. When you watch that on VHS,
Oh my god, it's just so dirty.
It's the only way to
gross.
watch Texas
or
Chainsaw
Henry
Massacre.
or anything like that. Like it's just.
Yeah.
But I think DVD and Blu-ray definitely has their place because I think some of those films needed an upgrade because some of them. I mean, there's a VHS I have, Mardi Gras Massacre, and there's a lot of indoor scenes in that bar, and on my VHS it's so damn dark. But the DVD that came out, you can definitely see it's brighter. I mean, there's movies that I think needed that treatment, but I think if you're able to get away with watching a VHS, I love VHS.
Absolutely.
So I think it just kind of depends. But yeah, 4K I can't say anything really on. But I like the special features that you can get on Blu-ray too. So.
Yeah, I'm pretty much with Google right there. I don't like 4K. I don't even know what the fuck 4K is, honestly. I think I have Ebola syndrome. Well, I don't have Ebola. The movie, Ebola syndrome. And I think there's a 4K in that. I think, but I got it because it's a Blu-ray.
Yeah, I
I
think
don't think I own any 4Ks.
I don't.
I don't know.
But
I
get
love
it.
I love DVD, Blu-ray, and of course VHS.
But I will tell you, there is kind of, for me, there's a downside to having Blu-ray and 4K because I think some movies just don't need to be looking like they just came out yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I get it. It's like anybody with like vinyl. You know, you're like those audiophiles that like they
Yeah.
have to buy a certain pressing that sounds the absolute best. But for me, I like to listen to where it's got a couple scratches in it. It's got noise.
Yeah.
You know, it just
I'd
We're
rather
not
listen
playing.
to I'd rather listen to a raw version of the White Album or something. You know?
yeah. You know, and it's just I think that's kind of the same for movies. You know, some people really go for the best sound, the best quality picture. But like I said, if I watch Halloween on 4K, to me I'd be like,
I
I
think
don't need it.
I think Halloween looks best on VHS and Blu-ray
Yeah.
or on DVD
DVD.
because it's darker, it's grainier, especially on VHS.
It's creepier that way.
Yeah, it is creepier because you kind of look around the corner to see where Mikey is, you know, and especially that part where he comes into
yeah.
frame right behind Lori
Yep.
and he stabs her and she flies down the stairs.
Yep.
If you watch it on Blu-ray, it's like or 4K, it's
bright
like,
as shit.
oh wow, there he is!
It's like
it's
it's
William
daylight.
Shatner coming in the fucking room, you know.
Yeah.
But if you watch it on DVD or
It's
VHS,
the mystery, it's the creepiness of it, you know.
it's a lot.
I
It's
think
a lot,
I think it depends, but me, I more aim towards older formats,
yeah, same here.
depending on the movie, of course. But I know newer movies and stuff. Like if I were to watch, you know, Bouquet of Guts and Gore or something like that, like yeah, I could watch that in 4K and be like, it still looks badass, you know.
Right.
But it's kind of like when they start putting like all the people on the news in like 4K or HD, and all of a sudden you can see all like the liver spots on their face, stuff you
Yeah.
couldn't see back in the
Yeah, yeah.
90s. You know, it's like.
Oh, that dude has a zip today. Okay, right.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, all right. What else we got?
We're not in 4K, are we? We're the VHS of horror
Yeah,
shows.
we are the VHS of horror shows.
Damn proud of it.
So,
Which country has your favorite horror flavor? United States, Italy, or Spain?
Italy.
Italy for sure. Yeah, you can't go
That
wrong.
was a short one.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with Italian films. There's
Yeah.
some good American films, but yeah, Italian is just you can't go wrong with that. From score to just
Production.
cinematography,
Yeah.
you can't go wrong.
He said it. The cinematography.
Cinematography.
Yeah, that's to me that is like when you watch The Bird with the Crystal Plumage, or Tenebrae, or man, like just yeah, Italian. Like even like It Happened at Nightmare Inn.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Just Torso, even like just
Torso, yeah. It's just the way they're shot. They're shot in
just
so,
amazing.
they're shot so
cinematography.
differently than everything else, and it
Yeah.
it's got such a gritty, dirty flavor to it that it
Just-
just it makes
if I
it so
can
much better.
cheat and say one more, it would be Spanish. That would be my second one.
It's Mexican horror.
Because
Yeah.
I love Paul Naschy.
Yeah. Mexican horror has also got its roots. It doesn't have as many films, but yeah, Mexican horror and Spanish horror is really good. He got Coffin Joe, all of those films, Brazilian.
So, yep.
So yeah, I think it. But if we had
Can't
to pick
forget
on those three,
Emmanuel Diasorno with the Blind Dead movies, Spanish.
oh god, yeah,
Those
can't
are
forget
nice.
those.
But
So,
yeah, Italy for me.
if it was out of those three, yeah, we just threw it honorable mentions. For
That was
them.
easy. We both agreed on that too.
This question is from Dave.
Dave, who's Dave? Hi, Dave.
Kropidlowski?
Oh, Dave.
Oh, Dave, what's up, man?
Dave. Shit, sorry.
Come on, brother.
Sorry if I
Thanks for
butchered
chiming
that.
in, man.
If you could pick any horror movie to remake today, what would you pick?
Oh, ooh, that's tough. Shit. Now, is this all PC aside? Because,
The PC Pussy Society. we
yeah,
live in these
is
days.
that not in effect here? Ah, Jesus.
Wow, that's gonna be a hard one.
Well, you can't fix perfection, even though they tried with Evil Dead numerous times. God damn.
I do like the Evil Dead remake, actually.
Well, I'm saying that, but if I had to remake something, it wouldn't be a film where the
Yeah.
original was. You didn't need to make it.
I would pick more of an underground film,
Yeah.
like The Brain That Wouldn't Die or something, or Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things. Even I could see them remaking Death Dream. That's my
Death
pick.
Dream.
Death Dream.
Death
That's
Dream.
cool. Even though the original Bob Clark is a masterpiece, but I think they could really. with this day and age of our guys and gals coming back from overseas and fighting for our freedom, I can totally see them.
I would I know it's not a perfect film.
Sela Turcica kind of
Sela
did that a little bit too.
yeah.
A little bit. They touched upon it.
I
But I would say Deathstream, yeah.
I would go with, if I could remake it, I'd do Motel Hell. I love that. No,
It takes all kinds of critters to make Marvin Vincent's fritters.
it's a great
I
movie.
wasn't ready
it's
for
a,
it.
It's a good movie.
It
But
is a great
I
movie.
feel like an update, and they could do something really cool with that.
I think you get a
A
better
little
pig
different.
mask.
Yeah, well, I just think like Motel Hell.
You can never get a better guy to.
No, at that time.
I
But
forget the guy.
I think if there was one that could use an update, I think even like that would be. It would be interesting to see what they could do with that concept. If it wasn't done
Yeah.
before.
Those are good
Because you don't really see motels or anything like that in many movies. Okay,
I could see them remaking like.
Frightmare or something.
I could see them remaking like Brain Wouldn't Die or something. Something that had like a little, like a Roger Corman type budget.
Empire of the Ants. Except for they wouldn't do it the same. They probably
It'd be a
do
CGI
ants.
shitfest, yeah. That's another thing about me and Ghoul. If you don't know, I don't mind CGI if it's done good with practical, but just a full-on CGI shitfest
Sci-fi
with
film.
CGI blood. Oh my god, man! What the
It's
fuck?
the worst.
Stupid.
All right.
What are your favorite witchcraft occult themed films?
Hoxton. Witchcraft of the Ages. Black Sunday.
You only get one.
Oh,
Did they say more?
Yeah. Was
Is
Oh,
it
okay.
films?
Oh,
Just throw
films.
films
Okay,
in there,
okay, yeah, okay. Yeah, I agree. Exxon.
A la Carta.
I would definitely have to say Mark of the Devil, Witchfinder General.
See, Mark of the Devil 2. Have you ever seen that one?
No, I can't find it.
I have it on VHS. I've never watched it.
I don't
though.
think it ever was released on
No,
DVD.
it's on some weird New Dimension or something. I got it from Joel. I remember that.
Vincent Price in Witchfinder General with Matthew Hopkins. That's just amazing.
And Matthew Hopkins, Witchfinder.
The Bloody Judge. That's amazing.
Christopher Lee. Yeah.
Yes. With nice curls in his hair.
Oh, that wig.
Nice wig.
Bring it to my chambers.
What is it? Is his name Judge Jeffries or something?
Yeah.
Judge Jeffries. Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
For newer, I would say The Witch.
The Witch was really good. Yeah.
We saw it in the theater.
And I remember we were the only ones in the theater that actually like gave a shit because it was all subtitled. But like everybody was just pissed, I think, because it was subtitled. They didn't want to read it. It's like
I enjoyed it.
Oh, we love that movie. Midsummer.
Blood
in a
on
way?
Satan's Claw.
Midsummer would kind of be witchcraft. I know it's folky, but it's
Yeah,
kind
it's
of
more folky. Like I would say Wicker Man too. But it's more folky too.
Yeah, there's kind of some witchcraft element.
Did I say Mark of the Devil? Yeah, Mark of the Devil, Witchfinder General, Exxon,
Yep. Black Sunday.
Eyes of the Devil, Witchcraft.
Witchcraft from '70. Witchcraft '70. Is
That too, I throw on there. I'm thinking of the '60s one, but yeah,
Oh,
Witchcraft
yeah.
'70s.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of them out there. Just gotta think of them here.
Black Death.
The hell they've ever seen that?
Black
One?
Death, yeah. With Sean Bean. That was a good one.
I've never seen that one. So yeah.
Dave said he loved the Motel Hell answer.
I think it'd be fun.
Takes all kind of critters to make Marvin Vincent's critters.
It's such a fun movie.
Ninja Badger, what's the most annoying character ever in horror for you? Mine's Bob from House by the Cemetery.
Bob!
Oh no, not Bob.
Bobby! We
Okay.
gotta go save Aunt Bobby!
No, I would say
Oh, that's a good one, Ninja Badger.
For me?
That's a good one.
for me it would be that goddamn kid in Babadook.
Oh, God.
When he's just in the back and he's just screaming, I'm like, shut the hell up, just kick him out of the car. It was so annoying. Yeah. That was so
Shit,
yours?
I gotta think.
There's some bad ones,
Okay.
but I know everybody made fun of that girl in Hereditary, but that movie's still good, so it's like
No, she wasn't annoying.
not annoying,
She
no.
wasn't annoying. What the hell was the girl's name in Halloween 5? Tina.
Tina,
Was it Tina?
yeah.
She was kind of annoying.
No.
but not to the point where it totally annoyed me. Yeah, the kid from the Babadook. That's a bad one. I might have to agree.
Damn it, Bob.
I like Bob. I don't care. I mean, I like. He was also in Manhattan Baby too.
Him and his stupid haircut. His bowl cut.
Yeah, I'd have to say I'm with Ghoul, the Babadook kid. It's
So
bad.
Alright.
At what age did you guys start getting into horror?
We kind of touched on this a little bit before. Now, are we talking horror as in like Nightmare on Elm Street, or are we talking like, you know, when we first saw like Alfred Hitchcock on TV? And I guess specify that question a little bit, but I mean, if I would say when I really got into like monsters and stuff, it was kind of probably when I was watching, you know, Tales from the Crypt. So probably 9, 10. When I really started to watch more stuff that wasn't just, you know, Alfred Hitchcock hour.
I saw Godzilla versus Mothra at age, I don't know, I want to say like 10 maybe. I was really young. It was a double bill of Godzilla versus Mothra and Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster.
Oh, there's a doozy.
And then after that, of course, I discovered all the great Universal Monster. They used to have like these Universal Monster books like for kids. They were like, they actually go for a shitload now, but they were made in these like orange little. They were like these orange little books, like they were made for kids, but they had like the most ghastly pictures.
Oh god, yeah.
They're made for kids, and like, oh
Yep.
shit, you know, you're seeing like Frankenstein strangling, you know, people and stuff.
Yep.
And that
I think
did it for
I think
me. A lot of the books did it for me.
And I agree with them. Yeah, I mean, I was
Like
gonna
if you
think
went to the
about books.
library, you know, and you saw like those reference books, like the Ellen Frank books, and
Well, I remember seeing like
those were
Like-
those.
you know, at the old library we used to have like seeing like the Black Cat.
Yep.
And
Old Dark
the
House.
Cabinet of Dr. Caligari and just stuff like that. Like, and I saw that you know, I would never watch the movies.
Yeah, same here.
But I always saw the covers. I guess it was my first exposure really to it.
I saw a lot of
Why?
movies by looking at photos before the
Mhm.
movies.
Oh yeah, we all did.
Yeah,
You know?
definitely.
It's just that's
The one that always stuck out to me was Arthur Grimstake of Tales from the Crypt, Peter Cushing.
Oh, yeah.
That page always stood out to me, and also the Freaks from 32. Those are
Mhm.
the two pictures that always stood out for me.
And Freaks isn't even really a horror film.
But
it's
yeah, it was
just-
Godzilla versus Mothra for me.
Yeah.
At age 10, I guess.
So
If you could visit any filming location of a horror film, where would you want to go?
Ah, man. That's tough. We got to think about ones that actually exist yet. 'Cause there's quite a few of them that don't exist anymore. I would actually like to go to where, I don't remember where it is, but where Salem's Lot was filmed. That would be kind
That's
of
a good
fun.
pick.
That would be kind of fun. Because that house has to exist somewhere, and that house is cool. And it's
The
creepy.
Marston House?
Marston House, yeah. That's where
Was
I
that
would
really
go.
a house, though, or was that just a background?
I don't know, because
If that's a house, I want that fucking house.
but yeah, I would go to the filming location, like that town for Salem's Lot. I don't honestly offhand know where it is, but it's a movie. That's where I would.
Throw with the cross. Face the master. Face against face.
Could you do that?
I'm gonna have to say. Off topic, sorry. I would have to say, I would really like to see the Stanley Hotel personally. I know the original Shining wasn't filmed there, and the remake was with the asshole from Wings.
Yeah.
That guy, whatever the fuck his name is, that guy. But the whole history of the Stanley Hotel and how King was inspired by it, I think that would be cool location. And my parents have actually been there.
I know a few people that have gone
And
there.
they
say it's cool.
They sensed, you know, it was a cool conversation. Yeah, I'd say the Stanley Hotel. Pet Cemetery would be another one too.
Mm-hmm. That's in Maine. I believe
I don't know,
were
everything in Stephen King's in Maine.
Yeah,
so.
they were on the. I think that was Maine or in the East Coast.
Even like where the original It, like all those
The
sewers
original,
and shit,
yeah.
that'd be kind of cool to visit.
Mm,
Of course, Camp Nobi Bosco, Friday the 13th.
I know you can go visit the Ghostbusters fire station though. That does exist. You can go visit that.
Oh, Amityville.
I want to,
That would
but
be good.
I just feel like the house changed so much that it would just kind of be like,
Yeah.
mm.
I'd go up and ring the doorbell and be like, "Pardon me."
Do you have any Grey Poupon? All right, what we got? Sorry. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this new PG-13 rated horror trend?
As
That's
far
an
as-
easy question.
Sucks.
Yeah, it sucks. Next question.
It
Either
just-
go full throttle or don't do it
So
at
you're
all.
talking like all the Jordan Peele movies and all that?
He just said the trend of horror movies not being rated R anymore.
Yeah,
they're
I'm,
being rated
assuming
PG-13.
that, I'm assuming that's
I
a lot of the Jordan Peele Smile and Us and all that shit, which are not bad movies in their own right. Even Babadook, I think, was PG-13.
I don't know.
But I think I think what they're trying to do is like they're just trying to, they're afraid that kids are gonna be more violent. I'm going, Jesus Christ! It went on through the 70s and 80s.
I think we live in a
Even the 90s.
I think we live in a society today where we're so projected to violence. You know, you got these assholes that gun down people at schools and malls, and you know, nothing's safe anymore.
No.
And I just think
Movies ain't gonna
I think
affect that.
Hollywood picks up on that a lot, and they're just trying to. I guess they're just trying to tone it down. I mean, but for people like myself and Google, we just, you know, we get it. You know, we're not those people. We understand what's fantasy and reality.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of our, you know, friends and fans do as well. You know, that you know how to act. You know, some people don't. Some people have mental
It's almost like
disorders.
it's almost like this upcoming generation
I just
can't
think
differentiate between it, and it's like
Yeah.
you're instead of exposing them to, you know, the Jasons and you know, Freddy's of our time, you know, they try to make it like, well, don't hurt them. You know, you hurt their pride. You know, well, you're gonna scare them. I said, Jesus Christ, we got scared. as
we can't have
kids,
Crosby.
You know?
We can't have Crosby anymore, or Madman Mars.
Yeah, it's just you know, it is what it is. But
I
there's-
did
I
like
thi-
The Ring though. The Ring was cool, and that was PG-13.
Yeah, there's certain movies that aren't the worst, but you can definitely tell with that tune-up to rated R,
Yeah,
they would have been better.
it doesn't do anything for me personally.
No. But yeah, Top Gun, is Top Gun rated R? I don't remember. But,
Top Gun.
yeah. No? I think it's
I
PG-13.
think that might have been PG-13.
But think about this, Jaws was PG.
Yes, Jaws was PG. That's still mind blowing to this day. Oh my god.
Think about all those movies that were PG back in the day. Damn.
The Goonies.
My goodness!
Next question.
Alright, yeah.
Need a beer?
I do.
No questions, just comments.
Okay, let's go.
Dave said.
Need anything?
What?
You need
Oh, I'm
anything?
good. Thank you. Dave said, my parents bought me Fangoria when I was 8.
Love Fangoria.
Watching Abbott and Costello versus all the different Universal monsters got me interested.
That is true, yeah. When they did Meets Frankenstein, and yeah, you had all the monsters in that one, and yeah, Abbott and Costello really was, you know, they weren't. It's like Young Frankenstein, even, you know, that it introduced, you know, a different version of it. Find all the Ritz. Yeah, Abbott and Costello for sure. I know Rue Morgue came later, but like Starlog, I think that was another one that was more sci-fi related, but you know, you had Reanimator and stuff. But yeah, Fangoria was definitely those horror magazines. They got you to really the interviews and things like that. So that was cool. Yeah.
Dave also said that the Stanley Hotel would be his pick for
Yeah,
horror
I would,
location.
I would love to go there, and I want to stay. What room is that? I was gonna say 213, but that's Dahmer's room. I forgot what room it is. No, and that's the impact of films. I think when you have a location and it's supposed to be set in that location, but you know, it makes you want to go visit it. As I was saying before, like Ed and Lorraine Warren, you know, when they attach their name to something, a location, an object, something they investigated, like the intrigue goes up tenfold, and you want to see it. You know, you're intrigued by it. I think it's the same for movies. You know, you talk about a location, you know, it's like, oh man, that would be so cool to go visit that place. You know, it's the same thing. You know, it adds a lot to it, I think. Yes.
Do you want me to wait for Skidcore to come back?
We have another comment or just question?
Comment.
Okay, let's go with the comment. He's coming.
Ninja Badger said,
Need a beer, jackass?
Thank you.
I was 8 as well, saw The Exorcist out of my friend's parents' VHS cabinet while they were gone.
Oh,
Hooked
dear.
after that.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear.
Oh, Jesus.
That must have been traumatic.
Wow.
Wow.
And if you were to ask, what
I was not that young when I saw The Exorcist, so I can only imagine what that
No.
was like. Holy shit.
No, I mean that.
I was probably, probably 10, 11 when I saw that one.
Yeah, that was definitely one of those movies that.
A no-no.
you had to sneak past.
What's a no-no?
Jesus, fuck you. Jesus. Like that is a movie that stands the test.
Up
of
and
time,
all out
no
of my
matter what.
father.
That movie stands the test of time, no matter what decade you're in.
What's crazy is
Jesus
Billy
Christ.
Freakin doesn't even define it as horror.
No,
That ain't horror. I don't know what is, man.
Jesus H Christ.
It's a psychological thriller.
I remember my mom telling me a story when she's laying in bed and you just see the moonbeam across her eyes and the breath. My mom says that when she saw that in theaters, like people were closing their eyes. They were scared as shit about that. And think of how something so minimal is so terrifying. It doesn't. That's what Hollywood doesn't understand. It's not about jump scares all the time. It's literally about building a character, building a story.
Building tension.
And all of a sudden, you just get that one image that will stick with you for the rest of your life. Horror films now don't have that. It's all about jump scares, and because that's how everybody gets so fucking afraid of now. And it's like, really?
What was the question? Sorry,
Oh,
it was
just
Not
it
a
was
question,
comment.
it was just
Oh,
a
okay.
comment. Dave said room 217 is where King stayed.
217. I was gonna think 213, but that's down.
yeah,
217.
that's Jeffrey Dahmer.
217. Okay.
At least you don't Google no serial killers. 213.
It's like I know it was 2 something. 217. Okay, that's the infamous
Room
yeah.
237. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, go for it.
That's it.
That's funny.
All
That's all I
right.
got. And your phone's gonna die, so
Oh really?
it's under
Right.
20%.
Oh, all right.
All right, well, I guess we'll wrap this up.
Yeah, I want to
movie-
thank you guys for hanging out with us, and
Who's ever watching, appreciate your time, and hope you had some fun. We did as well. So.
yeah, thanks for all the questions, comments. Once this goes, we post this. I mean, make sure you guys, like, share it, get the word out there, man. I mean, we've been doing this for 6, 7 years, whatever the hell it is, and it's great. We get
Enjoy
people
every
from all
minute.
over the world, so.
Enjoy every minute of it. Appreciate you guys and gals.
So, like I said, with the documentaries and stuff like that, go check them out. Check out the recent watches. Just go have fun. So, we really appreciate you guys as always.
So we're gonna drink some beer. And we're gonna say goodbye.
Now we're gonna party. So,
Job's done. Let the party begin. Of course, it's always been a party. Thank you guys. So
yeah,
much.
it's always a party with you guys. Love you guys. So,
Thank
yeah.
you very much. We're Descent into Oil. See you guys next time.
Cheers.
Are we done? Oh, she's.